I know this might be incidental or kind of like not really relevant to a lot of people who follow for the politics, but I'm a live streamer, so I'm very invested in live streaming culture and the general practices of the of the environment. I'm interested in my peerage. What are they up to? So there's this guy called Ethan Klein. Here he's baring his teeth to menace the opposition, which I find personally intimidating and powerful. And he's going to talk to a guy called XQC. So XQC is French-Canadian. I know, but don't let that bias you against him. XQC is a very popular streamer, and I'm not going to fully get into it, but to sum it up, I think he's just completely given up and doesn't care anymore. He's insanely wealthy. Like, insanely wealthy. Like, proper wealthy. He basically does whatever he wants, and it seems like most of his streams these days are passed through him just watching a succession of Twitter and YouTube videos and just going, whoa, dude, that's crazy, whenever something happens. Maybe, like, once a minute. There's been some discourse about him content stealing. And to be clear, as somebody who watches other people's videos all the time, and in fact is about to, I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as you are doing something transformative and adding meaningful content to what it is you're watching. If you are just watching it and saying nothing, I think that's really scummy. If you're watching it and adding something, which I always try to, of course, I think you're fine. Even if you are going to watch something without adding anything, or say play a video if you're going to use the restroom, which I have done, I think it's good practice to make sure that you're on good terms with the creator beforehand so they're okay with it and you have their permission, which I always try to do. XQC first got tips from Destiny right before the debate. That makes sense. Ethan Klein is friends with Hassan, who Destiny hates more than anything, except for possibly me. And Destiny is friends with XQC and has benefited from their association in the past. I also saw this recently, and the fact that this is blowing up, 31 million views, whew, right now is particularly funny. And it's XQC, I guess, just watching some police body cam footage when his maids come in. And I'm gonna read what he types into his notes. Normally, I'm not, like, embarrassed chat, so, like, I'm more social and chill, but this time there's a lot of trash. Holy f, I'm like actually shy. Sorry, bruh. And then the maid pauses and stares at him while carrying. It's just there's not really much political value to this clip. I just think it's really funny. I don't think there's anything wrong if you're wealthy and you want to hire a maid to clean up your house. I clean my entire... Okay, to be clear, I'm biased in this because I do an insane amount of housework. I like... I'm dad moding, okay? I'm like one of those guys now at this point where I will, like, look over the carpet and go see like one dot and go like, yep, time for a vacuuming. Or I'll go down to like the hardwood floors in the kitchen and I'll see one scuff and then I'll order those like de-scuffing markers from Amazon to like, I'm dad moding this, okay? So from my perspective, you know, I do a lot of that. Yeah. Yeah, from Berman, Vaush manic dad mode, cleans the house all day, and when I ask to help, he tells me no. Like a dad should. I don't think there's anything wrong with hiring a maid, and I might one day, I don't know, but I feel like you should always clean your own bedroom, right? That's fair, right? Like, you should always clean your own... Because, like, otherwise, there's something fundamentally grounding about being fully responsible for a space. And I think, yeah, it's like if you got a big house, like, okay, maid service, fine. If you have, like, parties pretty often, I'm not going to expect some multimillionaire to, like, spend 4 hours a day cleaning their... Like, yeah, obviously, there's, like, a comparative advantage to them hiring a maid service there. But it's like, your bedroom, yeah. Okay, this isn't really relevant. And introducing, in the corner, Ethan Klein at a... Where's that one photoshopped picture of him? At an earth-shattering 372 pounds, 5'2", the bear... Is XQC religious? Are Quebecois religious? I don't know. They believe in French. No? Okay, they believe in France. They believe in their language. I don't know.
So I just want to say, first off, like I was saying, thank you for doing this. I think it's an important conversation to have, and I think you're the right person to talk to about it. Simply because I feel, and I think you would agree with this premise, that you push the fair use value, or apparently you don't even care about fair use at all. And I don't want to put words on your mouth, so you can correct me where I'm wrong. But you seem to not care about it, or at least you push it as far as it can go. So you seem like the right person to talk about it with.
Okay, so I think there's 3 points to that.
I will, just to be like clear for the stakes in this up front, I think there is a lot of value in promoting good civil conduct for live streamers. I am a live streamer. Ethan and Felix are both live streamers. I think that there's value in like maintaining a good standard and like having discourse on what good practice is for that. I'll also admit that there's at least some degree of personal bias here because, you know, as a YouTube streamer, what I can or can't get DMCA'd for is very, very, very ambiguous sometimes, and I feel like I have to be really careful with a lot of stuff. So I will admit, I do find it personally frustrating that it seems like there's like an inconsistency depending on people's like relative size or like a bias in people's perspective on it, you know? Like Felix watched like Hunter x Hunter on Twitch or something. Man, I wish I could watch Hunter x Hunter. I want to watch Hunter x Hunter with you guys. That'd be so much fun. Just sit here and watch like 128 episodes and just like pog every time a gun starts going Jean Ken Pon, like every single time. Come on, how much fun would that be? Ask for permission. I do not think I would get that permission. Could you do it only on Vaush.gg? Vaush.gg is not a stream hosting service. It only embeds another website. The infrastructure for having an actual stream hosting service is monstrously complicated and difficult for anything that isn't like a big corporation. Can't you do watch parties? It varies. Vaush, there are full anime seasons on YouTube. It's more complicated than you think. Don't just if you think like, well, what about this loophole? Trust me, I'm aware of it and it doesn't work. Trust me, I
don't want to get too debatey yet, but basically, I think I value a good live product, right? 1, 2. I think I'm the right guy because I do a lot of it. I do good reacts, bad reacts, but overall I do a high density of reacts. I do a lot of it. But on top of that, against popular belief, I guess these days, I ask for permission a lot, and I try to make an ecosystem where things are good and not conflictual.
How does he talk
That's the main point. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all fair. That's all good. I want to make one. I guess I want to make one thing clear at the top, is that I want to focus on the YouTube uploads. Because the Twitch streaming itself, I feel like is too much of a gray zone, and there's industry standard. I would be less, I would be more hesitant to call what happens on Twitch a violation of any kind. So I just want to focus on what you upload to your YouTube channel. Is that okay?
Okay, so that's gonna be a yes and a no, because I truly believe that Twitch is somewhat of a competitor on VODs.
This builds up quite a lot,
VODs, then that'd be wrong. That'd be right, but Twitch has VODs, and all the VODs stay up. When people react, they leave the VODs up. It's quite the same thing as being able to watch or listen to music on stuff that remains in the VOD.
Okay, that's true, but just for the sake of this conversation, I just want to focus on, because like from a legal perspective, and I know you don't really care about the legality of it, and that's fine, but I just want to focus on like the YouTube videos as they stand as like a product. I understand that the VODs are on Twitch, and that would you know, create an inherent problem as well. But just for the sake of the conversation, to keep things clean and
you guys see the bunny?
Keep us from getting too messy. That's my focus, if that's okay with you.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Okay. Just for the sake of having a good argument, I'll do that. Except for when the topic matters.
Sure.
Right. It really matters. If it doesn't, overall fine. But there are certain points that like it plays a big role into it. If it's too big, I think I want to ignore it. But
you know what? That's 100% fine. I guess I'm just saying that for myself, so that when I'm talking, you understand that I'm talking about your YouTube channel and not making general statements about what's happening on Twitch. Okay?
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess my first question for you to start is that, do you think your work is transformative? Of course, that's one of the main tenets of fair use. Do you think your work is transformative?
Yes.
You do?
Yep.
Wait.
Here, I mean, okay, because I was watching you yesterday, and here you said it's absolutely not transformative. Here it is.
You don't have to care. That's totally fine. But do you agree that you've created non-transformative reactions?
100%, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We've agreed.
So here you say you've 100% made non-transformative reactions. Did you change your mind?
No, absolutely not. I didn't my mind. The whole point is that nevers are really bad, because I think we all have stuff that is not transformative. If you do a full-on yes or no, I just kind of like play with the question, and that was kind of like
So, but your work is not fully transformative. Some of it is not, by your own admission.
Yeah, some of it is less reactive. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright, or like the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat
Based anti-copyright leftist, we've got him, boys. Big corpo shill Ethan Klein, BTFO'd by Chad anti-IP law. Felix, I get a lot of this discourse in my community, by the way, for like whether or not intellectual property law should or should not exist. The answer is, and I'm correct to this, so if you ever have this discourse, just don't, because I'll give you the, like, you don't need to think from first principle. Don't think. I'll tell you what's right. Never think. IP law in the current system has to exist to some extent, because if it didn't, the only people who would benefit would be corporations, because corporations control an oligarchy, or like a not really a monopoly, but like a plutocracy or whatever, not only on the creation of media, but also the dissemination. So they could take any idea they want and then control the platforms through which they distributed their versions of those ideas, and you would get nothing. You would have nothing to protect your ideas. So that's not good. Some degree of IP law is necessary. And likewise, I agree with the idea behind the DMCA protections, the idea that platforms like YouTube can't be sued for having copyright content as long as they make a good faith effort to remove copyright content from their platform. That's what the DMCA laws are. However, their current implementation is bananas. So yeah, work could be done there.
It doesn't, because...
Well, that's fair. That's totally fair. And so because it doesn't matter to you, I don't think there's any point to really even discuss.
Well, I can elaborate a little bit.
Go ahead, please.
And open the door a tiny bit, just to give you a general angle. I truly believe that usually the people that enforce it are the ones that have a problem with it, right? The problem with the nature of the content itself. Because in terms of legality, right? Technically, if I'm playing some Telltale game, well, I mean, they could take me down anytime they want, right? Because that's their game, and I'm yoinking their stuff, right? So legality-wise, they could clap me for everything I've got, but for just playing their game.
Sure, yeah. But obviously, well, so fair use is decided on a case-by-case basis by a judge or jury. So it's hard to do big sweeping generalizations.
He is correct here. The reason why we have the expectation that full game playthroughs can be put on YouTube without copyright issues is purely an arbitrary one. One really obvious example of this being kind of weird and dumb is that if you play 10 seconds of copyrighted music from a movie on your YouTube live stream, the feds will shoot you in the back of the head through a window. They'll line up an anti-materiel rifle and kill you and the entire neighborhood in a single line. Whereas you can play as much music as you want from a video game soundtrack. And that's not because there's a separate set of laws or rules about it. That's just because people who make video games know that if you're playing their game, that music will play, and they don't want to copyright strike people who put up gameplay videos. And the reason for that is because we just socially accept that it's okay to put up copyright content as long as it's of a video game playthrough. Interesting, right? There's not actually a legal difference there. People got really upset with Nintendo for trying to claim and strike videos for putting up, or for like their video game videos, but they're only doing what everyone else does for all other media. Nintendo was just dumb enough to do it for video games as well for a time. Yes, some video games have streamer modes with non-copyright music, but that's because they've licensed copyright music. I mean, music created for video games is usually not subject to immediate DMCA strikes for that reason.
about what is and what isn't. But ultimately, if I understand your position, you don't really care about the legality of it. You're more like concerned with the philosophical thoughts of reacting to content.
The limitations of that is that I care enough about it to where it affects me.
Fast
right?
talking.
So I have to care because it's the legality of it, right? Like if somebody wants to strike down, wants to send out a claim, whatever, well, I have to act on that, right? So whether I care or not, that will happen,
Right.
and it happens all the time. Except I like to create an environment where I engage with people in content that are not going to do that because they believe in the mutually beneficial nature of the interaction, such as video games. Even though the video games
Okay, I have this at 10% faster than normal. I'm actually going to turn it down to normal speed because even with a 10% boost, he's almost unintelligible. I can understand what he's saying, but it's like just barely, you know? Okay.
strike me, and then they want for just playing their game on my
That's
stream.
normal speed.
Right. Right. And so, okay. So I think my point is that we can kind of skip this whole conversation and move on to the, because I think we both agree if we did a fair use analysis, and you admit that when you says it's not transformative, that a lot of the stuff you do would fail the fair use test. So we're on the same page. Yeah.
And also a lot of your stuff too. So we're in the same boat pretty much.
Probably not as much. No.
So I did a little stats. Maybe you don't want to hear it or because you want to kind of la la la. But by density of content, with how much you upload as a person, as a channel, I upload this much, right? Overall, because I have a lot of runtime, you upload about this much. If you were to break down the percentage of non-transformative content, your ratio is almost higher as mine.
I have no idea what you're trying to say right now. You're going to have to unpack that more. I don't understand this much, that much. You got to explain that a little more.
So the content you upload on your YouTube and on your channels, right? The things that are on YouTube because you don't want to do Twitch.
Talking about my podcast?
Doesn't matter. Your content, the stuff that you upload, right? The stuff that you control and upload.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
So overall, if you add all the content you put out there, right? I have about that much because it's a lot of runtime. It's a lot. I have
no fucking idea what you're talking about. Do you have proof of that? Like you're just saying that much, this much. That seems a little silly.
I have one of the highest runtime across the internet in terms of like putting out content.
Oh, but fair use doesn't have to do with.
Oh, this is it. So one of the reasons that I don't stream that much is because when I started streaming, I saw people like XQC and to an extent as well Hassan and Destiny, and I decided that I really didn't want to be that. I try to time my streams around and about for as long as like I can maintain the height of my attention span, ideally, which is not long, I'll be fair. But I never wanted to be one of the people who like, hey man, I stream 10 hours a day, and then like and then it's just like noise in the background, and then maybe like a third of it is real content. That's the reason why I try to like, you go on, you hit, kablamo, see you tomorrow, that kind of thing. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with doing things the way XQC does with like streaming a ton, but I think we see kind of the natural consequence of this, where a lot of it is just him sort of leaning back in his chair and like occasionally going whoa when like while watching other people's videos, you know, like the consequence of streaming that long is that there's no way to maintain like a talk show level of engagement the whole time. You kind of have to. If I stream 10 hours a day, I would do the same thing. You think I could do 10 hours of non-stop talking and like analysis and jokes? No, nobody can do that. Not for long, at least. Not over the course of a long-term career. That's way too much. So of course I would just put videos on and go like, dude, crazy. Like, yeah, I totally do that. You do that for your 24-hour streams? Well, I play video games for the 24-hour streams, and that's different. I think we just socially have normalized that it is okay for a streamer to quietly play video games. You can if you take enough drugs. I've got a bunch of 5-hour energy behind me. I order them in boxes now.
How long your stream is. It has to do with your commentary on the video. If your stream is 12 hours long and you're reacting to an 8-minute video, it doesn't matter. It matters what you said about the 8-minute video. It doesn't matter how long you stream for. So I don't understand your point.
Drink coffee? I did that too. I woke up and I had my Adderall, and then I had a 5-hour energy, and then I had 2 cups of coffee, and then I started stream. Well, I finished the coffee during stream. And then later, if I'm sleepy again, then I'll have more 5-hour energy.
So if you let me elaborate on my point instead of breaking the semantics, right? Because you could
Not
went
semantics.
against.
That's how fair use works.
Okay, we're not even talking about the nature of the content yet. The content, it could be a blank.
Hold on, just to be clear, you said you don't do fair use, but I don't also. So we're talking about fair use, just to be clear, right?
Okay. Let's reel back a little bit and stop being stupid for a minute and just kind of like listen. Okay.
I'm listening.
You said that I upload non-transformative content. Yes.
I will roll back in the caffeine. I've noticed that my hands are shaking a lot more than they used to.
You said that too, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, yeah. And I said that you do too, right? And I'm not saying, so you would say, oh, but dude, it's like a U2 double fault fallacy, right? But in the instance where you try to take the high road and say, well, I don't do this, guys, well, you do. And my next point is that in amount of content that you upload, you're non-reactive. There's actually quite a lot.
I don't know what that means. You have to stop saying that. It doesn't mean anything. You're just saying stuff.
Well, I'm saying that
you're just doing this. You do a lot of this and this. There's no stats. There's no data. I don't even know what you're referring to.
I don't know what this is. What measurement are we?
If you want to talk about stats and data, there's one specific video that I just analyzed. Just picked one out of the lot. A rapper who got a $20 Anne Frank tattoo. This is let me just read off some stats, and you can tell me if mine matches up or is worse. So this is a video uploaded to your channel 10 days ago. A rapper who got a 10-minute a $20 Anne Frank face tattoo. Okay, so the original video's runtime is 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Oh, sorry, no. The original video is 8 minutes 33 seconds. Okay, the video here that you uploaded is 9 minutes 13 seconds. That means you added 40 seconds to an 8.5-minute video, adding 7.8% runtime. Actually, I even did you a favor. I condensed all of your commentary on this specific video into just a short video because it's only 40 seconds. So I'll show this. Well, this is important because what you say, the commentary does matter. Because
before you finish, let me go. So you're about to prove me right. I said I do non-transformative dog shit. Yeah. And you're about to show me non-transformative dog shit.
Okay, fair. So I don't have to show it to you.
I mean, you'll go clap me because I mean, I just said I did that.
Okay.
That's like saying I'm white and I'm on camera.
Well, you said that.
Well, hold on. You're French for one. He gets increasingly belligerent as this goes on. I only know that because I saw a clip from later in the debate, which is truly wild, a rhetorical strategy for which I would have no defense if I encountered it. So this is one of the other things, one of the reasons I wanted to say this, because XQC is a massive belligerent child, like who can't take criticism. Okay, this is now a Hassan appreciation stream, okay? Because compared to this, like Hassan is like a Tibetan monk who meditates for 12 hours a day on a bed of spikes, and if ever you told him something with which he disagreed, he would take a deep breath and then reflect for a moment before recognizing his faults or something. Like XQC is so belligerent, dude. Holy shit.
This is more transformative than mine, so I don't understand the consistency or the point you're trying to make.
Now that you've brought that up, I mean, sure, let's take
well, hold on. Before you do that, let's just. Well, I do think it's interesting because the commentary does matter.
Okay, do that. Where?
Arnold began to notice
music.
Arnold didn't have the best.
Recognized as one of the. What the fuck am I watching? I mean,
that tattoo was finished.
Wait, that
instant response.
That is pretty good, actually. What the fuck? That guy's really good who did that.
The argument that every
bro, that crowd though. Oh, is that Tana? What the fuck? Adam 22. What the fuck? But what is always be the dumbest Reddit comments? I guess. I thought they had like one song. Fair enough. Hey, that's legit. Shit. Yeah, one song. Well, anyway, he's like Kappa. He talks normally and shit. Wait.
Feel good about themselves.
Chat said New
So that's the entirety of the commentary you added to his 8, and I think it's even fair. And I know you don't defend yourself on this, so I guess it's kind of a moot point. But the quality of the commentary, like. You have to be commenting, analyzing, being critical of the content you're watching for it to be fair use. But that doesn't matter, right? Because you don't even believe it is.
Ethan, I think you're right. I think you got me. So I think instead, I think we should get an example, one of your examples. Then
sure, I'd love to.
Let's get one of your.
We'll take a look at Ethan Klein's tweet threads after this discussion is done. Don't worry, there's plenty to get into there. Yeah. So I guess that this is what I would consider to be like the lowest bar for React content, which is kind of shameful considering XQC is such a large streamer that he got a $100 million deal with Kick, you know? It's like, this is what people want, I guess, which isn't great. Okay. I just want to talk to a second to XQC fans who are not watching me right now because there's no way they have the attention span for this. But I want to talk to them really quick, okay? I don't think there's anything wrong with watching people you like the personalities of react to stuff. I've done it. You've definitely done it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I do think that there would probably be some benefit to you experiencing these things without the filter of that personality. Because I know even when I was growing up, there were people whose personalities were that they would talk and act like the content creators they watched React content of. And I'm sure that's even worse today than it was when I was growing up, like by a lot, I'm willing to bet. And I really think you have to be careful about that. Learn to enjoy stuff without the filter. Couldn't you have watched that video on the wild face tattoo without like, what did he really add to it? Are you so insecure in your own amazement that you need somebody else to be amazed for you? Like, it's the catharsis of seeing the amazement of the React streamer, and you're like, well, I'm amazed too. See, we're as one on this. I think it would be good to be comfortable doing that on your own a bit.
Examples that show me the guidelines, what I should do to react. How do I post that in chat? Can I post this right?
I like the chat interaction as chat watching. I will say, actually, I often find the chat to be more entertaining than thanks, Beetle, than the streamer themselves when I see clips to that effect sometimes. I do think that it can be quite fun to see something funny happen in a video and then you see like 500 emotes lining up on the side of the screen. I think that's enjoyable. There's just something kind of like fun with the group experience of that. But understand that there is a difference between chat being a spectator to something and watching a React streamer be the filter through which you watch it. The filter is different from the accompaniment, you know? Being in an audience, being a member of an audience isn't a filter. You're just experiencing something as a group. I mean, you know, if you want to, okay? Here's an AI challenge for any programmers, okay? Develop a plugin where whenever you're watching a YouTube video, it superimposes a fake chat on the side of the screen that will react to the content of the video and like throw emotes out there like pogs or whatever, all right? If you could do that and then have an occasional like ad plugin and you'll be a billionaire, all right? Because that's all people want. People just want just a line of PogChamps alongside everything. Absolutely everything, okay?
Click on that. So instead of having my example of it, I think we should use yours instead, so I could learn how to be a better creator. How about you click on that?
Good idea. I'd love to check it out. Oh, I have to open it. Okay, I'll open it.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
1 second here. So yeah, you uploaded to your XQC Clips channel. You uploaded 5.
You'll see,
dude.
it's
Oh, you uploaded 5. Well, I just want to explain it. You uploaded 5 clips. Or wait, shit. You upload on this channel so much.
Play it. So when it was my turn, you played my clip. When it's your turn, you don't play the clip and you just comment before seeing it.
No, I'm setting it up for you. I'm gonna play it. I'm opening it here. Sorry.
Very defensive right off the bat.
So here it is. Here's one of them from your channel.
1.2 million views and 6.
Now, is it okay if we watch this one? Ethan shows XQC how transformative reactions are done. Number 4. This is the one you uploaded. Yeah.
Number 4 was number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all good. So here it is. So you can.
Hours. Okay, King.
Jesus.
Finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
Do you notice a problem already, Felix?
So many.
There's a cut here.
Picture in pictures.
Okay, King.
Jesus.
Why is there a cut there?
Huh?
Yeah, there's a cut here.
So whenever you play my video, did I say, wait, Ethan?
God damn it.
I think
Okay,
I've seen something on the screen right there. Is that a dead pixel? Is that
this.
Just play the video, bro. Jesus Christ.
Okay, but it undermines your argument if you're showing an edited clip. If you're cutting out my commentary and then trying to say I don't use fair use, this seems a little silly. But I'll play it.
Play the video.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm in the corner.
Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slang is He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
Oops, wrong video. That was the first response. He
There's
actually
10 seconds of him
apologized
sitting
in
there like
another
This is like a
moron.
Demon Mama
Look at this
maximalist
idiot.
stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's not high effort.
No. This is
editing
like
is not
that.
high effort.
I mean, hold on. Here,
Hold on,
let me
wait a
get
second.
a
That's not
taste
it
of
either.
this. He didn't talk about it. He's literally just sitting there quietly for the first 30 seconds. You should sue him. You XQC, you beef bitch.
Turns out it's actually on his
40
secondary
seconds.
channel.
I have to wait for this to be
I'll
done.
play the whole thing. Just let me know when to stop.
I have to wait.
If you want me to.
I'm sorry.
It's entitled,
Or
Thank
introductory
You,
statement.
Coffeezilla. It's the third
They
response.
could
Are
sue
no
you,
longer
and
being circulated.
they would be right to sue you. I think they would be in the right.
I think so.
Thank you.
Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far. So let's see what he has to say to us.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal.
Oh,
I
that's
wonder
a
what
relief.
Ethan
I
has to
thought
say, to be
Logan was
honest.
going to hire me.
I'm sorry. I have to wait.
Do you wanna keep
It's
going?
too much.
I was wondering, because the guy says, I wonder what he has to say. I wonder what you have to say about this, because I'm
Okay.
watching you, and you haven't said shit yet, so I mean...
Well, I'm just. Well, you told me to let the clip play. Do you want me to let the clip play, or do you want me to interrupt it? You got to choose a lane.
I was trying to be creative with it and kind of do commentary at the same time, and I was trying to I was asking the old Ethan, the guy that's morally above everybody, high roading, to react to it, but he's not saying shit. So there's like a problem with it.
Do you want me to keep playing it, or
Keep playing,
have you
yeah,
seen
keep
enough?
playing, keep going.
Okay, cool.
But in all
Okay, I'll just stay here. Okay, that's fine. I'll wait for this to. Yep.
That's a good one right there, boy.
Does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For one, Logan apologizes to me.
I called him. I apologized.
My criticism of him right now is that he uploaded this to YouTube. Because I understand the nature of. I mean, listen, it goes on. But I'm going to tell you, I find it really interesting that you think this is compelling. This is actually.
Are we done?
First of all, there's so many cuts in it. It's not persuasive at all. But one thing I do want to ask you about is why you cut out the beginning of the segment when I talked about it. Here's when I set up the video. Here it is. And again, the framing, what you say in the before and after is really important. So here's how that clip starts, Felix, which you cut out for some reason. Yeah, so Logan made a video after he got absolutely bodied for his response, where he was like, I'm going to sue you. This is bullshit. You're
Why did you cut
defaming
this?
me. Oh, you played a video.
So is that a preamble?
Is Ethan wearing eyeliner in this? His eyes are popping. He's serving a lot of right now. He looks blonde too. Yeah, I guess he is done up. Yeah. And no eyebrows. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. He's got a lot going on right now. Guys, this is a secret that the gays don't want you to know, okay? If you're a guy and you ever want to get a lot of compliments, don't focus on like looking better. Focus on serving, okay? And usually what this means is looking ridiculous in a self-aware way, all right? Just wear makeup, shave your eyebrows, and then go outside and go to the gay part of town, and no matter what you look like, people will be complimenting you. I don't get it myself. It is true. I'm not joking.
Without
Is it like,
oh yeah, it's part of the same clip. You just went in and took out like 30-second slices from it.
So basically what you're saying is that you're going to the bar, right? And this part is like where you get in and where you get like a beer or something like that, right? And the rest of it, you just fucking say, basically it's like the intro. So if you put an intro, you're good. You say, guys, I have a video today, guys.
So
and
you don't understand how fair use works, and that's fine. But I don't know why you want to debate fair use when you don't care about it. Yes, what you say in the beginning matters, bro. You're analyzing, I'm contextualizing, I'm criticizing, I'm analyzing it. That's what fair use is. I'm transforming it. I'm not just sitting there and the audience isn't just watching the video while, I mean, you do get up and go to the bathroom a lot. So I know that you want to, but that's fine because you don't care about it. But for you to think that this is
so
proof,
you use me as an example for your identity. Is what you're saying?
Felix, do you think this clip is compelling? Do you see what I'm saying, that this example is really dishonest?
Okay, so in that clip, my editor edited your own words saying it.
Oh, can I ask you something? Your editor did this. Have you watched it?
Well, yeah, I watched it like you just did.
Oh, you did. Oh, you just watched it for the first time.
So the cuts are...
Have you watched the unedited version on my podcast?
Yeah, it's
okay. So then why was this removed?
If you don't let me talk, I mean, we're not gonna have a conversation.
Well, I just want to get to the point. You know what I mean? Because I don't want you to deflect. I want to know why you cut this part.
Then when you ask a question, you have to wait for me to answer. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
You said, okay, go ahead, please.
Because you asked a question, you did 3 times. That's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's 4 of them out of many of them, by the way. We only uploaded 4 because we didn't want you to go crazy with the DMCA stuff. Basically, it's pretty much, a lot of it is spliced and it's back to back. So yeah, there is a cut, but it's like you're pausing a video, but it's the same thing. You go in stretches of 2.5, 3 minutes.
You haven't proven that. But here's what I will say.
Well, go to get another one. Go get the one from Meat Canyon. That one is you. Okay. Listen,
yeah, go ahead.
I think that, like, in addition to him being incredibly defensive, I think it comes off as incredibly bad for XQC that his attempt to prove that he does transformative content involves looking for, like, specific videos or whatever. Because, like, it's a little bit unfair to compare to my channel because I do politics stuff, which means that I'm always going to be pausing and talking or whatever. But if you look at my channel and you look at, like, the runtime of my videos where I go over other people's videos, it's like, look at, you know, very obviously inconsistently. Where's the Ben Shapiro one? Where's the Ben Shapiro one? Yeah, two hours here. Wasn't it longer than 2 hours? I feel like the editors must have trimmed some of this down too. I feel like when I originally did that, it was longer than 2 hours. So thank God the editor. Yeah. So if somebody said, like, dude, you steal content or whatever, I could go to any video on my channel and be like, well, here's me talking for 87 hours on this topic from a 2-minute video, you know? That's why we can only go over, like, 1 or 2 videos a day on this stream, you know? Like substantive videos. We can only go over 1 or 2 per stream. And sometimes we can't even go over 1 if it's like going over another person's debate. Yeah, so I don't know. To be clear again, because I don't want to, like, give the XQC fans the impression that I'm against React content in general, which is something that everyone who live streams does to some extent or another. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it, or even with going over a video and not having that much to say. It's more about, like, the habitual pattern of just re-watching and uploading other people's content. And then there's the whole thing with credit, right? If you're watching a big video from a big YouTuber, it's not as much of a deal, but if you're watching a video from a small YouTuber, it's very possible that, like, depending on how you handle it, they might not get a break they could have otherwise gotten. Like, depending on how you decide to host it or give credit. If you don't, you know, if you do, then it can be good for them. But if you don't, you know, The best example that I can think of is that there was a small channel that doesn't upload anymore, sadly, called Echo Gecko, where I saw their videos and liked them a lot. So I went over them on stream, and I did, like, a, hey, everyone go sub to this. And we got their sub numbers up quite a bit. I think, in fact, if I go to Social Blade, I just think it's nice to share that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can actually see where I discovered Echo Gecko's YouTube channel. Right over here, see? Which I think is indicative of commitment on my part to help them out. And their videos are still great, so still check them out. You know, even if they're not uploading anymore, they still have hours of content you can look at and appreciate.
You combo mustache twiddling, hair, and neck skin, and you do like this.
Yeah,
and you get all sorts of things, and that's major react.
Vaush Adam something. Adam something's channel is like 3 times the size of mine. But of course, do subscribe to Adam something. 100% friend of the. Sorry,
bro. You do like mustache twiddling, hair, and neck skin, and you do like this.
Yeah,
and you get all sorts of things, and that's major react, bro. I have to give it to you.
Right.
Is he making fun of Ethan's thingy?
But here's what I will say.
Well, go to get another one. Go get the one from Meat Canyon. That one is you. Okay. Listen,
yeah, go ahead.
You combo mustache twiddling, hair, and neck skin, and you do like this.
Yeah.
And you get all sorts of things, and that's major react, bro. I have to give it to you.
Right. No, you're right.
I feel like if there's anybody who has no right to make fun of Ethan for the Tourette's thing, it has to be the twitchiest man on earth, XQC, right? Like it's this coming from Felix, like Jesus Christ.
You're right. You understand this concept because you talk about it all the time. Meat Canyon is my friend who gave me permission to react.
Oh, so it's about permission then. So now we're going to go post.
Well, hold on. It is. Hold on. Before we move on, I just want to make it clear that when you're accusing me of not adding enough commentary, that you did upload a clip that's deceptively edited and, I mean, frankly,
God damn it.
dishonest. Why did you cut this beginning part?
Okay, so Ethan,
Why did you cut this?
unfortunately, the problem that I have right now is that you're saying that now, and you're saying all this whatever, right? But it's quite literally you in the video that's edited that says he's sitting
There's
there.
cuts in it. It's not the video. How is, if there's cuts in it, how is that a representation of my analysis?
All right, then examine Exhibit B, the Meet Canyon one.
I already told you I had permission.
Okay.
So why do I need to look at that?
So now it's about permission. All
That
I'm
is
saying,
one aspect, yeah.
in the video, you're trashing me.
Oh, I think another example of like good practice when it comes to going over other people's content is after Ethan Klein did the Sam Seder switcheroo with Steven Crowder, I DM'd Ethan and asked him for permission to react to it on my stream. Because people knew like something had happened that he was about to release the video, you know, just stuff like that, right? I think it's a good. Oh, and it wasn't just me either. Hassan did as well. I think this was before the Leftovers podcast. Hassan also DM. So like I feel it's just good practice, you know. I think it's good.
You say he's sitting there for 40 seconds without talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your major concerns or criticism. It's why it's highlighted so much in the video. But that's a big hit you do at me. And I'm going to show examples of you multiple times where you go not only 40 seconds, you go 2 minutes without talking. So then, right. I don't have to argue against you. You have to argue against yourself because these are your own words.
Well,
and you get to watch your own video.
So here's what I'll say about that. You're right, because the 40-second thing is not a good analysis. That wasn't a good thing I said, because when you're considering fair use, you consider it in the totality of it.
Take it back.
No, you still are a content thief, in my opinion.
Take it back.
No, why would I take it back?
What?
Because if you're gonna reel it back and say,
I just said that wasn't a good analytical point. I still think you're a content thief.
Okay, but so take back what you said then.
Why? I believe it. I know I am. I apologize for the 40-second thing. I don't think it was a good analysis.
Okay. You want to go with the other comments that you made or not?
Huh?
You want to go with the other comments that you made or not?
Which comment?
We could go through all of them because you're wrong. You're wrong across the board. So, every behavior you call me out on, you have done.
One thing that I'm curious about is why is Felix so defensive here? So Felix gives me the impression of somebody who has more money than God and doesn't care anymore. So it's very strange to me that he seems legitimately upset by this, especially because, you know, as massive as Ethan Klein is, I'm pretty sure that Felix is larger by a good amount, too. So I don't know if it's literally, like, is it actually just, like, a really hyper-fragile ego? Because from an incentive standpoint, I feel like he could have easily just shrugged and gone, haters gonna hate, and then kept doing whatever he wants. It's wild. I guess it's just insecurity. Somebody earlier, I didn't see who said that nobody's told him no before. That's kind of true. Like, obviously, people have disagreed with him before. Like, that happens to everyone. But there has been, like, a pretty massive push against his behavior lately, and it's possible that he's just kind of sweating under the heat. But his audience is, let's be fair, mostly half-wits and children. They're not going to be moved by this. He's not materially threatened. I don't... You know, yeah, it just comes across as strange, I think.
And those videos.
Okay, if you say so. But why do you want to? Okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
Okay, because earlier you said, do you care about this all the time? Not all the time? And I gave you an answer. You were like, got him. He said not all the time. When you seem to be the guy who doesn't do any stealing or thieving. And I have 4 examples right there. And you
did not show an example.
Well, then get another one then.
Well, that's not my job. You're the one that's trying to prove it. Why the should I go pursue and try to prove I don't do fair use? That seems stupid.
Wait, that seems like that's exactly what you guys have been doing on Twitter and whatnot, right? That's your whole concern.
Yeah, I'm showing stuff about you and not telling you to go find a video of yourself not doing fair use. That's moronic.
So you said thief, right?
Yeah.
Show me one.
I just did with the Anne Frank one. You did 44 seconds of commentary on an 8-minute, 30-second video where you offered no critical analysis.
And do you know if I have permission?
Did you have permission for that?
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
So why don't you tell? Wait, why won't you tell me? Did you or didn't you?
I'm just saying. Are we moving the goalpost there now.
It's not a goal.
I also think even if you do have permission, that there is there's a moral obligation to elevate the art form of streaming by making original content when you do it. Like, even if you had permission to just rebroadcast stuff endlessly, I don't think that the permission to do so would be itself evidence of, like, moral parity with making something new, you know? Remember when PewDiePie started live streaming on Twitch and he doesn't give a shit anymore, so he basically just put a playlist of his own videos to watch, and, like, he wasn't even streaming, he just had a computer running? On one hand, I kind of respect that because it's so brazen, and on the other hand, to be fair, that is his own content. But imagine if that had been other people's content and he had permission to do it. That wouldn't be morally equivalent to doing your own stream, right? Because, you know, at most you're doing nothing. You're just rebroadcasting. You're not creating anything new. But we should create new things. I think creation is lovely. I love it when humans make things.
Post. It's just another facet of the conversation. It's not a goalpost.
It quite literally is when you make it a goalpost.
Okay, I do want to talk about the permission thing, okay?
There you
but
go.
I just want to,
I
I do want to say one thing. In my career, in my 10 years of career, I'm sure that there's been times where I've done a less good job of reacting fairly to content. I'm sure of it, right? And
So
that's
you were
some-
thief then. So
and
you were
that's
thief and
some-
you're not anymore.
And that's something I acknowledge and something that I'm always working on and analyzing and thinking how I can do it better. It's something I really care about. And the reason why this conversation is interesting is because it's something that you don't care about. And I'd like to know, I'd like to understand that. But are you saying, have I ever done a bad reaction in my whole career?
No.
Yeah, yes, probably.
I'd say no. No, never. But find one of you to upload where it was just me watching a video. I do tell my editors to not upload those, by the way. If there was something that would, because when I complete a stream, my editors who know what I want, you know, will go over it and cut up the content, edit it appropriately. And what I usually, if I watched a video where I felt like I didn't have anything to say, or I just didn't I didn't create, I wasn't interesting, I'll tell them to just leave it on the floor. You know, like, don't, you know, that was nothing, right? I've not been perfect about that, of course, but I certainly try to.
Almost certainly.
So that
A fan uploaded a Mapmen thing once. Yeah, that's why, like, there's a bunch of Mapmen stuff where I've only barely commented on it and it hasn't been put up. If a fan uploads it, I can't really help that. I mean, yeah. Though, worth noting, I have talked with one of the Mapmen, and there seems to be some camaraderie there. So, you know, man, I would love to have them both on. What's your take on VODs that still keep your non-transformative content for the sake of archiving stuff? Well, yeah, I still think that's worthy of criticism if you don't re-upload it publicly, because it's still there in the VOD. However, because you're doing stuff live, you can't manage that as perfectly, right? Like, if you're live streaming and you want to watch a video and comment on it, but then it turns out you don't have much to say, that's unfortunate, and I don't think you should upload that. But you can't reverse time, and you also can't know ahead of time for sure if that'll happen. So I think it's not like a one strike and you're out deal. It's just about maintaining a good standard and trying your best. That's what XQC is getting shit for here. It's not because he fucked up once or twice or because he made a couple mistakes. It's because of this flagrant disregard for the content stealing just across the board, you know? It's like the pattern.
then, would you agree that old Ethan or not too old Ethan is a thief, sack of dog shit motherfucker?
Sure, yeah. In those, if that's what happened in that time, sure. I was a dog shit sack loot, whatever the you said.
Have you made any efforts to repair the damage or the things that you've stolen from the people that you thieved from?
Well, again, I don't have specific examples. There's nobody that's approached me, so it's you
and
know.
have you taken accountability the same way you want me to take accountability publicly for that?
I just did, didn't I?
Not really.
Why not? I just said, yeah, I've probably done that. What do you want me to do?
You're gonna rob a bunch of people and say, guys, I might have robbed somebody. Lol. I'm moving on. I mean, this seems like kind of a cop out, to be honest.
Well, it's not like going in a store and sticking somebody up. Fair use is interpreted by judge or jury.
So is it thief or is it not thief? Because the way I see it,
the way you do it, I think is theft.
He was accusing Ethan of engaging in semantics earlier, man. Jesus Christ.
Something from somebody, right? There's gonna be a process of like finding who is guilty, how
Is
much.
Destiny live in XQC's ear? If he is, his influence is not affecting Felix's behavior very much. Again, I would, if the tell for that one would be if Felix gets the like anime character glasses glint expression for a second before making a really good point, or if not a good point, at the very least a very convincing one. But I don't necessarily know if we're gonna get that here. Destiny has tried to advise XQC on issues in the past, and it's not a consistent process.
Much, and there's a whole process behind it, like the legal system is. Just like, I mean, don't you care about the legal system? You seem to care about DMC a lot, right? So
No, Thana, I don't. This
surely you're going to care
Destiny's
about that a
not doing
lot.
this or whatever.
So did you damage them? Did you talk to them? Did you make an
I
apology?
don't know who the victims are or if there are any. All right, let's move on. We're talking in circles a little bit. We want to talk about the permission thing?
Haven't you talked to XQC back when you were Irish Laddie? Yeah, okay. This is actually like one of the most embarrassing things I ever did in the context of my career, and nobody mentions it because nobody remembers it. But I'll air it because I hide from nothing. Back before, I think I even became a streamer. I think this was before I even had the channel, or maybe I was still going by Irish Laddie at the time, like colloquially in Destiny's community. I was on a group call with Destiny and XQC. If I had a channel by that point, I would have plugged it for sure, but I was in a call with them. I don't remember why or how exactly, but I'd heard from a friend of mine, because I was in university, so I'd heard from a uni friend of mine that XQC was homophobic. I don't actually know if he is. I don't remember what the evidence for him being homophobic was at the time, or anything. Like, I don't remember any of the context associated with this, but I remember being told he was homophobic. So I was trying to get his goat by being like flippantly gay or like coquettish to him or whatever. Like, oh, isn't that nice, XQC, or something like that. In a way that in retrospect was definitely like pretty cringe. Not sexual, I don't think it's sexual harassment, but definitely like cringe or like weird or whatever. And it was definitely like, it didn't bear out in anything. Like it didn't lead to anything. It was just me being weird. But I've always felt like, man, in retrospect, I should have just like called him a dumbass. I could have done more with that. There were more effective axes of engagement there for sure.
Sure. I mean, so what you're doing is running away pretty much. We're not running.
Well,
circles.
no,
You're running in a direction and you're going straight forward. That's what's going on right now.
That's clearly not the case, but
Gotcha.
I will just let it be for the sake of continuing the argument.
Gotcha. Keep going.
But
man.
yeah, you do it every single day. I mean, I've done it maybe a few times in my career. I've done, you know, and again, I don't know who the victims are, and if they come or nobody's ever come to me. Has anyone ever complained that you stole their videos?
Anybody that has
Anybody
reached out to me-
ever?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Okay,
yes.
because nobody's ever complained to me about that.
Oh, so now you care about robbing somebody, right?
Well,
and if they didn't tell me, well, you know what? We're chilling.
You're saying the
which is
victim of the crime doesn't matter?
Which is exactly what you went after me with.
Does the
everybody else.
victim of a
Wait, what? I don't even know what the logic pull was there. I don't know what that was. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever had a person complain about me stealing their content before either. The only time that happened was the conversation that I had with, I think it was like a black cop conservative on The Blaze. It was that time where The Blaze was like, hey, we're going to do this group debate 2v2. And then it started and they were like, oh yeah, we're not going to rebroadcast it on your thing. And then when we were off stream, one of the ladies said, yeah, you can upload it to your channel. And then I did upload it to my channel after. And then they copyright striked me and I had to threaten to take them to court, and then they dropped the claim. So the only time somebody ever accused me of stealing their content was when a Nazi lied in order to try to get me copyright striked. Officer Tatum, yeah. Oh, and you guys can go see that on The Blaze if you want, but I owned him, obviously.
Crime not matter?
Well, he's asking after the fact that was the exact argument that you went at me for, and you're running away from it.
I don't know. Listen, the proof that you have victims is literally just concrete proof you did it. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I don't understand your point.
So when we say victims, I said
yeah,
people
some people you stole from. They're a victim.
Okay. So what about your victims?
I don't know who they are. How many times do I need to say that?
Okay, me reaching out and making an agreement with them and
Every time?
Yes, you're not okay. Listen, Ethan, if you want to open up the chat.
So yeah, notice like the engagement here. My bad behavior. What about your bad behavior? After Ethan's already said nobody's ever reached out to him to complain about content stealing. And now it's shifting into this like, well, if there was one time that I had like permission or whatever, that sort of thing, you know? Really bad faith engagement. He seems so petulant. No, he's really petulant. Yeah, it's like telling a kid that they like, it's like a kid like broke something and it's their fault. And you tell them and they're like, no, and they like blame everything in the universe except for themselves.
And go with the logs. I have so many logs to make your head spin.
Let me ask you a question.
I have hundreds of emails sent to people, more than any reactor, which is more than your friend Hassan. He does way less asking than I do.
Why are you bringing up Hassan? What does that have to do with anything?
Because whenever he was on your podcast, he was sucking his balls out.
Well,
right?
that's
when he
again.
does.
This is,
Wait, here we go. Here's the Destiny influence. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, in the earpiece in Felix's ear. Now, bring up Hassan. Bring up Hassan. Bring up Hassan. Sorry. I'm being facetious in this. Hassan does this too. The most egregious thing that Hassan did was the time where with JXC, he watched a JXC video and apparently like the screen was cut off so that her video title and channel wasn't even visible. And then when she was like, hey, can you not do that? Hassan was like, yeah, JXC likes to hang around with like far right people. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to take that seriously. And JXC like goes on a podcast with some other media people. Like I think Maxor or something. There's some other, no, not Max. Some other people. I don't know. JXC's based. Mahler, that's it. JXC's based though. And since then, JXC has had a grudge against Hassan and makes fun of her, or makes fun of him sometimes, trans Hassan, in her videos. JXC is also the world's best source on why these Netflix originals are terrible.
Mr. Chair React and with all
Dude,
due
you're
respect,
so dishonest. You don't even know what you're talking about. Last week, I chewed him out for an hour to the point where I had to apologize because people were mad at me.
That sounds like your problem.
You literally
No,
don't know.
That sounds like your problem.
It is my problem.
What? Okay, so nobody accuses you of stealing content, but what about your friend Hassan? I criticized Hassan directly for doing this. Well, that sounds like your problem. What the f does that mean?
But you have no consistency with what you're talking about. You just said I lick his balls, and now I proved you wrong.
Consistency?
You're making no sense, bro.
So
what do you mean it's my problem?
Piece of shit for doing chair react when he does.
All right,
cookies
this
and
is so
cream
mindlessly dumb. Let's just move on to the permission part.
You know what? You want to keep doing a sprint? Let's just keep running. Let's do a marathon, me and you. How about that? Because we're running a straight line right now. I'm running after you, and you are going straight forward.
Okay, good. I mean, that's the point of the conversation, right?
Let's just keep going then.
What percentage of people would you say you get permission from?
The majority. Because the way it works for me, but for React, the main lines.
I would not want to challenge Felix to any competition in speed. He's even got like bleach blonde hair. I feel like he would have lightning. He's like Zenitsu, okay? He would have lightning powers. I feel. He talks so fast.
Most of the content that I like, I have it all lined up, right? So people that I really like, I like the best. We reach out to them and we create this little kind of partnership, right? And when there's a smaller creators, I try to be way more careful with the amount of growth that they're getting, how many subscribers that they have, and I try to be better with it. And quite honestly, when it comes to small creators, I have never had any pushback, right? So no victims in that case.
Okay, that's perfect. Have you heard of a guy named Vince Vintage?
Okay, if you are a small content creator, publicly complaining about XQC watching your video is suicide. Because all of his 12-year-old fans are going to swarm you, saying, bro, one of the biggest streamers in the world watched your video and you're mad? And like, meanwhile, like, you got nothing from it, of course. Like, it's not like XQC fans ran over to check out your channel. They're just watching him watch 27 videos a day. But they're gonna race over to you and make your life hell. And I've seen stuff like this happen before, not just with like XQC's community, but like just in general. Fans of large content creators, especially when they have a young audience, get hyper defensive and will attack people for criticizing them in any way, no matter how valid the criticisms are.
Reacted to 2 of his videos. This one was from a month ago. You remember this video? Disappearance of FBI's most wanted 16-year-old. XQC reacts. This is from a month ago.
That was 2.5 months, 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay, perfect. So it was very recent.
Okay.
So would you consider this guy a small creator? He doesn't have a lot of subs. In fact, here's his original video.
Klein in a store.
He only has 400,000. Well, that's not small. But anyway, you did this recently.
Yeah, that's not small. 400,000 subs is an okay number of subs. It's all right.
Do you know who that guy is?
Yes.
Okay, why didn't you ask him for permission?
I don't know. Did he complain? Because at this point, I don't know if I have a victim, right? I don't know. So I didn't do.
Well, you do, actually. And what's funny is I literally just reached out to one random person from your recent reacts, just one, who followed me. Because I knew
it's just one. It's just one. It was only one, for sure.
Yeah. No, I swear to God.
So you went and asked, are you a victim, by the way?
Let me, hold on. This is important. This is important for you to understand. So I reached out to Vintage, and I said, "Hey, I'm just curious."
Why every time I show my subs, people are like, "Hey, man, does it bother you that your career is dying?" And I have 10,000 viewers. Why are people like, "Your sub count is stagnant"? I'm pretty relevant, okay? 10 million views a month between my two chapters. It's like, oh, dead channel, bro. Yeah, my subs are stagnant because every 6 days I get embroiled in the yet largest leftist controversy online. I'm never not trending, and it's always because somebody's calling me a Nazi. Of course, I get a lot of subs every day. I just also lose a lot of subs every day. We've gone over the charts on stream. It's like, I think for most people, they probably, like, the ratio of subs gained to lost is probably like 5 or 10 to 1 because people don't tend to get rid of their sub. Like, if you sub to a channel, they don't tend to unsub. But for me, it's like 8 to 9 sometimes, where it's like, oh, I gained 1,000 subs in one day. Ah, sorry, buddy. Well, 999 left because they think you're a Nazi now. So it's, that's okay. I'm trying. God.
Did XQC get permission? And I'm going to read you the message he sent me, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
He said, really appreciate you reaching out, Ethan. I've never been contacted by XQC at all for any of my React videos. My personal take is this. I love big streamers watching, like XQC, Hassan, Mizkif, Moist Critical, watching my videos on their stream. It's a big ego boost. But when XQC does it, it's different. When he watches my video, he always re-uploads the whole thing on his YouTube channel with his insightful commentary as, wow, chat, isn't this crazy? Compared to when Hassan watched my stuff, he shouted me out and he says he loves my stuff and he sent a bunch of subscribers to my channel.
Yeah, okay, to be clear, I have criticized Hassan for this, but I don't want to equivocate. Hassan is far better about this than XQC is. Massively. To be clear, you know? The JXC thing was especially bad, but like on average, yeah.
A fair exchange. Here's a video. He showed me a video of Hassan doing that. And then he said, XQC, he really just steals my shit. Entertains his audience off hundreds of hours I put into my videos while I get just a link in the YouTube description. The problem isn't the reacting, it's the re-uploading of my video.
That's another thing. Putting the link to the original video in the YouTube description is nothing. Nobody's going to watch an 8-minute video after just watching an 8.5-minute video of XQC reacting to it without pausing it. Like, they've just gotten the video. You know, like, why would they just go and watch it again? This is another thing as well. I've always felt much more comfortable going over other people's content if it's non-high effort content, if that makes any sense. This is the reason why I'm, for instance, pretty hesitant when it comes to uploading Mapmen stuff, because the Mapmen videos are, well, they're brilliant. They're incredibly funny. They're informative. They're extremely well written. They're fantastic, you know, or any of the Unfinished London videos, anything from that goddamn channel. Excuse me. So if I watch a minute of their content, that's a lot of effort distilled in that minute. And then there are channels like Not Just Bikes, or Adam Something, where a lot of effort is put into every minute of those videos, script writing, choosing clips, but it's not like Mapmen where we're talking like rewrites and performances and stunts and bits and like setup and like costume changes and stuff like that. There's a lot of effort that goes into it, but minute per minute, it takes less. And on like the way over on the spectrum, there's me, where a minute of my content took me 1 minute to produce. So when I go over stuff like talk shows or live streams or things like that, I feel like there's a lot more flexibility when it comes to reactions because I'm not distilling as much effort. I'm not, you know, does that make sense? I feel like there's a less... I feel like I'm taking less, essentially. Again, there's no perfect standard, but
with his face on the thumbnail, and also and I don't DMCA him because I don't want the Twitter drama.
Oh.
Yep.
He doesn't want the Twitter drama.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you?
Okay.
Well, hold on. This guy says you stole his shit. Why are you denigrating that? I think you should take this seriously.
Well, because one is a paid actor, right? Which
Huh?
What?
I think. Well, I mean, this is exactly. I mean, that's a paid actor, 100%.
Wait, what?
What?
What did you say?
Oh, it's a paid actor.
He's a paid actor.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
just assume for
What? Yeah. Well, that's a paid actor, right? Demon. That's a demon right there. That man sent you that message. That is the devil. Will eat your ass. Paid actor. Like, what are you talking about? Is a Fed? It's not real? What does that mean? Notice how, okay, man, not to like overanalyze, but listen to Felix's voice waver. I think his feelings are actually hurt.
he's a paid actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he is. 100%. It's not even a hard read. His face is shaking. His teeth are quivering. When people are nervous, their teeth chatter. When they don't know what to say. It happens to everyone. It's happened to me. Yeah. He's nervous. He's gonna cry. I mean, probably not actually, but you know.
That is what it is.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
just assume for the sake of the conversation that he's not a paid actor.
Okay, okay. So the first guy you react, right? The first guy you send a message to sends you a paragraph, looks like the Bible, right? And is stroking your ego out. Well, you know what?
Do paid crisis actors also belong to SAG? Yes. The Sandy Hook victims are at the SAG-AFTRA strikes right now. They are not getting paid nearly enough for the shit they have to go through.
Okay, I'll bite, no problem.
Yeah, just yeah.
So what's really cool about this, right, is that we can make that type of interaction I have with this person and make it 10 times better for our ecosystem, right? Of what I watch, what I upload. If he had asked, he doesn't have to. He can use the DMCA system, and maybe there will be Twitter drama or not. Usually we never make drama for DMCA stuff. But then
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Why are you not
I
responding to
don't
his
either.
accusation? He says you're stealing his shit.
let me elaborate.
I don't know. Okay.
Let me elaborate then. He would
Vince Vintage is in chat. Is that true?
he would be a data outlier of a person who doesn't like it, and we can either recurve that, make it better, and I will de-damage him for every dollar that he has lost to me, right? If he had analytics to back up how much the video on YouTube cannibalized his, or any sort of damage.
Son of a bitch. Yes, he is. From Vince Vintage, $5. Just understand I am a paid actor. Then I guess XQC is right. Also, what's up? Hi. A lot of drama today. Hey, listen. Well, if Vince is here, you know, just to be clear, like as someone who's dealt with a decent amount of drama and dogpiling in his life, okay, even for someone as hardened to it as me, the idea of having to deal with XQC and his fans coming down on me for like, bro, he watched your video and shouted you out. You DMCA him? You're gonna DMCA him? First of all, if Vince Vintage DMCA'd XQC for that video, XQC would not be like, oh, that's cool, dude. He would absolutely 100% go to social media and be like, bro, what the f? I thought we were cool, man. So, like, the idea that he would be, like, level with it and not belligerent the way he is with literally everything else is ridiculous. But yeah, the idea of, even for someone like me who can deal with a lot, I think, the idea of, like, XQC fans descending upon my channel like a swarm of locusts would be terrifying.
Managing data or stats behind it, I would be more than happy to give him 10 times 10x whatever damage
Okay,
was
good.
caused.
He'll reach out. Have you ever paid anybody?
You get that bag. Get that bag, Vince. It's out there. The offer is out there. He's gonna regret saying that.
10x before? Has that ever happened?
We have these
How many
people before.
times?
Moving my Discord.
Whenever it arises, if that's
How many
something
times does it happen?
I will have to check with editor, but
Right, not a lot. I'd assume not a lot of people do that.
Oh, okay. So the amount really is what you're looking at then.
No, just the amount of times that people actually take you up on that. Because what you're saying is, I'm going to steal your stuff, and I don't care if you have a problem with it. You can come talk to me. Like, that's not your right. Shouldn't you apologize?
XQC on Twitter did say that if there are any issues here, people should just DMCA him, which is insane. The idea of, like, I'm not going to moderate my behavior at all, and if you want to engage with me on it, you need to do it through like the legal system or through YouTube's like, you know, DMCA process is just wild.
To Vince,
Yes, I apologize, Vince.
it's not his job to come ask you for reparations for you stealing from him. Don't you understand that?
So what you're saying is that you went digging for victims that
I literally messaged one dude.
Okay, so nobody in your production room believes
Why
that.
don't you just apologize to Vince Vintage?
I absolutely will, and I feel I didn't get a Twitter DM. I didn't get nothing. I feel really bad. You want to know why? Because all about the whole sphere of this, everything around it, is to make something good happen, right? And that matters to me a lot.
That's such bullshit, bro. Nice try. You literally do it to enrich yourself. You're a multi-millionaire, and you steal content from small creators.
He's a multi-millionaire, to be clear. Like, Hassan is a multi-millionaire, all right? XQC is a multi-millionaire, okay? Hassan's savings account probably has 7 digits. XQC's probably has 9. It's a meaningful difference. His net worth is 10 million. Hassan's or XQC's? XQC's is definitely higher than 10 million.
And you don't give a about their rights or what they want. And then your only justification is, oh yeah, you can come chase me down and complain and try to get my attention so I can pay you for the shit I stole. It's total bullshit, bro. You're not creating anything big for anyone. You're just taking attention and views for yourself, and you don't give a fuck about the consequences of that. It's not your decision to make that for other people's property.
You sound like watch out! You sound like a Robin Hood or something. Are you like some sort of?
Hey, Felix, do good things. Take responsibility for your action. What are you, some kind of superhero? Oh, you're like whoa, bro, you're like Robin Hood. What the f do you mean? It's incredible how even for somebody as childish as XQC, he is still internally replicating the logic of the robber baron, where somebody's like, hey, you extremely powerful man, can you not stomp on the people beneath you? And he's like, huh, what are you, some kind of vagabond? Are you a highwayman? You're robbing me. To give it to the poor, is that it? Like, it's okay. This is what people talk about when they talk about class consciousness. You know what I mean? Where, incredibly, despite having a moth-bitten brain, Felix is capable of arriving at the basic, like, underlying self-defensive logic of the bourgeoisie without, like, conscious engagement. You know what I mean? It's because the systems that he exists within just naturally pull him towards that kind of myopic selfishness. Though in his case, I just think he's also genuinely child-brained.
A hero, something like that? Because it seems like you do a lot of that, and you take the high road on it. You take the high road on that. One, that's my point. You have done that. You do that.
You haven't proven that.
Well, it's all
okay. Fine, I did it. You know what I mean? It's like so stupid. What is it? What does
From Vince Vintage, the juicers have been invading my DM and comments, and XQC still hasn't responded back to my DM for the 10th time. Oh, really? Oh man, you suggesting to me that XQC might have been insincere when he flippantly talked about how you can get yours by directly contacting? That's remarkable. Well, you are a paid actor, so you could have been acting that donation. I really do hope you're able to get what's yours. Again, to me, it's not even about, like, everybody should get proportional ad revenue or whatever else. It's just about, like, the basic decency and decorum of handling your fame and your presence, especially for somebody of XQC's size. You know, it's like, God, it's such a low bar.
You can't use me as an example for your own thing because
you keep saying that.
You're doing it.
Not proven.
You're doing it. You call me a thief, piece of shit when you're doing it.
You haven't proven that. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Let me send one DM. I will, guys. I'm going to send one message, and he will automatically give me a full response right now. Give me a minute for it. Okay.
You're making fun of this message I got from Vince Vintage, which is a genuine, he was expressing himself genuinely, and he was disturbed by the way he uses content. Can I ask you another question related to Vince?
I'll take it down right now. I will take it down. If Vince wants to come in right now, send me a DM, I'll take it down right now. I will give you every penny of that, and I'll say, this ecosystem.
Right, but that's just...
Well, it was 10 times every penny. Well,
work for you.
Let me ask you a question. This is
Go
the
ahead.
video, and you do this all the time. You'll agree.
Yes. Yes.
You use the exact title and the exact thumbnail. The only reason for anybody to do that is to
That's pretty egregious too. Yeah. It does away with any possible chance that you're not just replicating the content in commentary. It's like he's like a mimetic virus or like a plague, and if your video catches it, then it's like a doppelganger thing. It's just like a significantly larger version of the video with the same title and thumb, except he's there now.
confuse search and discovery and cannibalize views from the original. That is the only reason to do that.
Do you have any sites to back that up? Because I have the sites of the opposite.
Dude, it's the thumbnail and the title. Don't you see that users will be confused?
Let me tell you something, Ethan.
Don't you think so?
My YouTube channel does not grow. It quite really doesn't. But your thing.
Well, that's because you just post a ton of shit there. No, you don't put any effort into it.
Okay, and why do you think that is?
Because you don't give a.
Okay.
Clearly.
So, gotcha. So these are cut downs for the people that we call the YouTube frogs that are just watching my shit.
It's not your content, though. You don't get that right.
Okay, well, same goes applies to you then.
No, you haven't proven that. You keep saying that, but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, then show me proof you asked for permission and we got it.
Why? Now you're asking me to show you proof? Dude, you're absurd. Why is it?
Wait.
You think it's crazy? Dude, the fact that you're using the same title and the same thumbnail is so parasitic. It's so shady. You are only doing that to siphon off views and confuse people. There's no other reason for that. Why would you use the same exact title and the same exact thumbnail? Explain that to me.
So are you more upset about the title or about the content of the video itself?
Well, it's the intention, dude. It's all together. You're intentionally confusing people to click your video instead of his.
Since you're all about legality, you would understand that intention is one of the hardest things to prove out there, right?
What the f are we? We're not talking about proving your case to a jury. We're talking about the obvious logic of replicating thumbnails and titles. What? Also, it's not like XQC uploads these videos, his editors do. But he, of course, controls his editors, so that doesn't absolve him of responsibility. It just means that his intent isn't the relevant one. Why can't you debate people like this? Well, as we're going to see later on in this debate, XQC does have rhetorical tactics up his sleeve for which I would have no answer.
Talking about philosophy, we already moved past legality. You don't care about fair use.
Yeah, no, we can again like do.
Just answer the question, Felix. Why did you do that? Why did you give it the same exact title and thumbnail? Just answer that.
Oh, because I wanted to.
Why did you want to?
Oh, because I wanted to.
Why did you want to?
Oh my God!
Because the thumbnail is good and it gives the viewer what they want.
Right.
And,
which is the original video. They want the original video.
Okay, so I'll tell you, since you don't like questions, I'm just gonna give you a fact then, right? People that don't watch React content do not get served React content. If somebody wants to watch us react it, oh, well, I thought it being cannibalistic was a problem with you. Well, is it not?
You're gonna
First of all, it is true that people who watch React content will be served more React content. But the critical difference here is that a person who engages with React content almost exclusively will have also had the opportunity to watch the original content if they weren't caught in the React content cycle. Like, it's kind of f***ed up that there are two roads you can take, right? Where, like, one is you get recommended all these videos to look at and you watch the videos from the original creators. And the other one is the React cycle, where you watch a bunch of, like, lazy pieces of shit, watch the videos, and they get far more views and attention and money, and add nothing to it, and it's just, like, all the effort went into the former group, but the latter group now is, like, that's dumb. Again, you know, it doesn't mean that it should all be illegal. React content happens everywhere, blah, blah, blah. But, like, the cycle here, you know?
try to say that the Google algorithm is somehow running D for you? That's crazy. It's stupid.
So you said that it's cannibalistic. I give you a hint on why it's not.
Well, it's the
it's
intention.
irrelevant.
It's the intention.
Okay, so now it's it. So if you want to just keep going back and forth and say not there, not there, not there.
Okay, so you see no problem with this.
Oh my God.
No.
No. Okay. And if you added 20 seconds of commentary to his video and you use the same title and the same thumbnail, you don't see any problem with that.
No.
Okay. There it is.
So it seems like
That's all you really need to say.
So
it seems that you don't care about It seems you don't not just care about the law. It seems like you don't care about people's artistic, creative property at all. It seems that you don't have any respect for property at all. IP, at least.
It seems like nobody, to my knowledge, has a problem with any of my videos being up right now.
But you're like a prolific thief. You could say, oh, I found one example of you doing this back in whatever year. You're a prolific thief, dude. You do this every day, multiple times a day on your YouTube.
Hold on, just out of curiosity, because I don't actually visit his channel, of course. XQC's YouTube channel has 2.3 million subscribers. Woman calls police to scare her boyfriend, instantly regrets it. XQC reacts to funny and relatable TikToks. Audience hates bad writing, not strong woman. XQC reacts. Here's the thing with Ethan Klein, so that's that. XQC reacts to Mr. Beast, 7 days stranded at sea. H3 debate prep gets heated, featuring Destiny, Mahler, and ABBA. Destiny goes unhinged in discussion on Kai Cenat. I don't know what the context of this is. I can't believe Hassan said this. Kai Cenat. Okay, so apart from the Kai Cenat, it seems like, apart from current events, it's mostly just XQC Reacts. He has a second channel that's just for reactions. Wait, as opposed to this one? This isn't the React channel? Entitles Karen's getting arrested. Airport Karen gets put in her place. XQC reacts hard to Daily Dose of Internet. Here's him reacting to this. Oh, I remember this one. Why men can't get matches on dating apps. And the video... Where's the original video? Oh, here it is. The video is like 15 minutes. The original is 9. I saw clips from this where he like didn't even talk for the first minute, or maybe that was a different one. And then there's a whole other XQC reacts. And this isn't even like the shit on his Twitch, you know? There's a lot of Ethan Klein stuff here because he's mad at Ethan Klein right now. But there's not really much effort put into the YouTube channel or channels, right? Like he just does his shit on stream and other people. 39 minutes of him watching TikTok. Vaush, you have to stop trying so hard. You're right. I should be worse. XQC watches funny TikToks with chat for 35 minutes. I can't. Well, I copyright. Wait, is he watching himself react to TikToks? He's watching TikToks of himself.
Take me 20 minutes to do tech support to make audio work. Somebody talk shit.
Yeah, that's right. Read me that fucking score. Read me that fucking score. Read me that score. Read me that fucking score. You
holy shit.
Folks, some shy stuff.
Chat. Guys, I don't want to go to the chat. Guys, I'm gonna go to the chat. Guys, link.
I'm sorry. How can you guys watch this? Really though, like actually though.
Link the TikTok chat.
Yeah, it's the care first, man. You know, mini water cares, mini water die, and do you boris the care first, not Charlie castles. You castles, man. You monocourse. You mini boss. Thank you, bro. Yeah, no problem.
What up? That was it? Ugh.
Chat, there's one more. Chat, there's one more. No? The games, dude, I have a tournament of chat.
To infinity.
Coffee, spelled backwards, is EFOC, which is funny.
It's EFOC, and it's funny.
Me, Remy, risking.
This got uploaded. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm reading the Necronomicon or something, where like the knowledge will like it'll like blind me. The songs will deafen me. I'll breathe the air, and the air will burn my lungs. It's like cursed knowledge or something. God, averages 50K viewers, by the way. And like the crazy thing is, I'm bitching about this, and I'm also one of the biggest streamers. Like this is like, I'm complaining about this with it's like, oh man, he's huge or whatever. But the difference between him and me, like on a scale, is significantly less than between most streamers and him. So this is, yeah. Oh my God. Oh. all right. Okay. His React content used to get like average 100K before. Well, like people grow up and like people move on to a new dumb streamer who just like. No, you know what? I was about to make fun of Kai Cenat, but I've seen Kainat streams, and while I feel he's annoying, at least he does stuff. There's a whole different. Whatever. Okay, let's just move on. We're not even halfway through this. You thought we were getting out of this, didn't you? You thought that there was escape? You thought that freedom was on the table?
YouTube channel.
You thought.
Gotcha. So I will go to somebody's house and say, take something, and he doesn't care, right? He generally doesn't, and never reached out. And you go out there and you go and seek the victims out, right? And you failed to establish a pattern of them being cannibalized the way that
well, there's just one. I mean, one is enough, isn't it?
Okay. In that case, it puts the burden of proof on you as well. Then, so you have permission. Yes, because I think
I don't need permission to transform content, dude.
Okay. So one of the videos that I have, but there's 4 ones, so you guys see all of them. If you have proof, you ask permission to any of those, you win by a landslide.
Why would I need proof to transform a video? I mean, the only one is Meat Canyon because he's my buddy. There's obviously ones where like it's obvious when you're buddies. I actually did ask Meat Canyon.
Oh, it's obvious. So
well, you understand that on Twitch too. There's people that everyone's friends with, and like, but this guy, I mean, Vince.
So,
yeah.
Okay, then. So you're making assumptions about me, but we're not going to make assumptions about you.
Not an assumption.
Oh my God, man. It literally does remind me of like arguing on like the playground as a kid, you know?
And I have a literal message from the guy you stole from. It's not an assumption. It's literally a fact.
Okay, so the whole reason why this debate was in the first place is that people were finding victims that didn't exist. They're saying, oh, this is a problem for people. Okay, so you found a person who doesn't like it.
Yes.
And there's multiple ways out. For
actually, he even specifically named you as the problem. He said the other people actually clouded me up, where XQC completely stole my shit, added no valuable commentary, and then stole my views. That's specifically what he said, actually.
Okay. So the guy's a problem, and instead of reaching out in any way, shape, or form, he waited for you, the savior of the earth, to come in and just Robin Hood it and just be, guys, I got you, bro. Why? Why?
Do you really not understand the concept that small creators wouldn't want to start shit with XQC, one of the biggest, with the craziest fan base in the world? Like, is that really a foreign idea to you, that they wouldn't want to deal with this power dynamic? Like, you would crush them if you said anything. your fans would harass them into oblivion. That's too foreign for you to understand?
So this guy, 400K subscribers, big views, YouTube videos, small creators that's about to die from something. Ethan is here to save the day. This person will now be able to.
Dude, he's so pathetic, dude. Holy shit! How can you like this is the reactive instinct of people with incredibly fragile egos. It's that if you're ever better than them, or if you ever criticize their behavior, they basically just go, oh, because you're so perfect, huh? Look at you, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Klein, Mr. Perfect Klein, coming in here like Robin Hood. I don't like following his logic, it hurts. He's not making logical arguments. It's purely like an emotional thing, right? It's like a reflexive defend the ego kind of thing, and that's it. Like there's no, yeah. Didn't he also go through a breakup recently? I don't know anything about that, but even if that's tearing at his emotional state a bit, like he's an adult, and that's not an excuse for this behavior at all. And frankly, if he acts this childish with her, then good for her. And I mean that too. Like, this isn't just he's being annoying. This is like legitimate mental regressive behavior here, okay?
To afford some food and eat some rice tonight. Well, I'm just saying, because if you try to make a portrait, if you draw a picture on who this person is, and you say small creator, like struggling and whatnot, it should be, I'm saving him, and
he's going through a common law marriage lawsuit. Oh, so it was a common law marriage, not just a breakup? Oh, god damn, that is a lot. Still, I don't withhold my criticism.
You're just you are misrepresenting.
So he doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, he does matter, but not in the capacity that you're trying to paint.
Which is what? I don't understand what you're saying.
A small struggling creator. Somebody please help this person before he goes out of business.
Well, no, I didn't say any of that.
Well, you did. You did. You just.
I actually quite literally did not say that.
You said small creator. That's enough.
Well, okay. I was upfront about his sub count. I looked at it. But anyway, let's see.
My bad. I was just wrong. I was just mega wrong. Let's move on. Let's
you
move
have
on.
been this entire time. It's fine.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with this thread because he actually gave you permission to perform this analysis. Internet archivist. He said,
it's anarchist. Ethan, if we're gonna be buddies, you have to know how to pronounce the ideology I pretend to believe in. Sorry.
He said, I let XQC repost a reaction to see the impact it had. Okay, and the analysis is basically the video witnessed an 87% decrease in impressions on the day of the re-upload. Okay, and the video also witnessed a 52% decrease in viewers on the day of the re-upload. So I mean, of the evidence that I've seen, then it actually shows that it has either a negligible or potentially even a negative effect on the original video.
Gotcha. So,
and actually, he even made you change the title and the thumbnail. So why do you think he asked you to do that?
Not to mention, you can tell from the time codes here, the original video is 1525, and this one is 2011. So adding, I guess, like 30% of content in time, like you've lengthened the video by 30%, which isn't inherently bad. But I would be willing to bet that most of this video plays uninterrupted, and then at 1 or 2 points he stops and goes on a tangent. You know what I mean? Like I'd be willing to bet that it's mostly just the video uninterrupted or minimally interrupted with a tangent or two added. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. That's a guess of mine though. It's just a feeling I have based on my knowledge of XQC.
XQC. He said, don't use the same thumbnail and title. Why do you think he asked you that?
Because as a creator of the IP, like you like to say,
because you siphon views from people, dude. It's so obvious why you do it.
You ask a question and you answer for me.
You're not being honest.
You can have a monologue if you want to. You just mute me and just go on a fucking rant. But if you want to ask me a question, you have to listen to the answer. Here's the answer. He controls the IP. He wants to be different, right? And he wants some changes, and he spoke to us, right? So instead of crying and being a little bitch, it seems like
Vince. Vince is crying and being a bitch.
See, notice again how XQC is like, dude, if they have a problem, why is it that they haven't told me? And then when somebody does say they have a problem, he's like, oh, what a bitch. There's no way of winning with him. If you DMCA him, his community will attack you. If you say nothing, he'll use your silence as an example that nobody minds behavior. And if you do say something, he'll call you a bitch and his community will attack you. There's no way of winning with him. Yeah. Guys, he just needs a few more $100 million and he'll be done.
Bitch, is that what you're saying?
That's all I said. You're putting words in my mouth.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Is this Twitter or what?
I don't mean to. I'm just wondering who you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. So then, like I was saying, instead of being a little bitch ass, right? I think he understands at least that there's some positives to it, if not a lot of positives, and some of them can actually do better. Right?
He didn't show any positive.
Okay. If it was only negative, he would have asked us to take it down and would have done that, right?
No, he left it up for the experiment. And he said, do not use any of my other videos without my permission. He literally told you that.
So it's a social experiment at this point. It's like an experiment. So now it's the guise of experiment, and he's only letting it because it's an experiment now.
Okay, well, I showed you proof it had a negative effect. Do you have proof it had a positive effect?
No, you didn't. No,
what?
You absolutely did not. Absolutely not. So show the stats again?
Sure. So explain how this is good. He said, I'll let you describe. The video witnessed an 87% decrease in impressions on the day of the re-upload. So
Ethan,
explain that dub to me.
Go ahead. Do you, in your position, had a time machine? Answer the question. You do not. Gotcha. Since we're going to do the whole, I'll answer for you. You do not have a time machine, right?
Prove it.
It is impossible to know how the video would have performed and how it went down in its natural curve over time, right? Whether I watched it or not.
That's an assumption. You have no proof. I have
See,
proof.
all you need to do to ever make a point against XQC is have a time machine. If you don't have that, sorry, bucko. Again, notice how inconsistent he is, how fragile he is. At every level, he moves the goalpost. So at first, it's, I don't care about this, and hey, if they have a problem, they can reach out or DMCA me. But then people do reach out and DMCA, he calls them all bitch ass, and he's like, well, what about the goods of me hosting it? He doesn't have any evidence for the good of him re-uploading their content, of stealing their content. But you can't prove there's any bad unless you have a time machine. Like, it's nothing. Like, there's nothing. It's nothing.
So you use...
I have analytics.
So one data set, right?
You have no data set. At least I have a data set.
Oh my God.
And also, you're the dude stealing content, so the onus should be on you to prove the great benefit of it.
Okay, I get what you're saying, okay? I find it a little bit dishonorable and a little bit disappointing that in the middle of a conversation about analytics, you're spewing words to your audience and mine about me stealing and whatnot, when we're trying to prove that it quite literally doesn't help anybody. You're muddying the waters for no reason.
Unpack that, please.
Dude. Okay, wait. This one I am blaming on Destiny, okay? Felix has been in the company of people who know how to debate for too long, okay? This is, you know what people say? A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. That saying is literal. As in, knowing a little bit about something, but not a lot, is dangerous because people will act as though they know more than they do. You're muddying the waters, you know, like you're moving the goalposts. We tried to establish this, but bro has no clue what he's talking about. Bro has no idea. Lil bro, because he's 1 year younger than me. He's no clue. He's drifting. He's lost. He's hopeless. But he's heard other smarter people use these terms. In reality, like this is it's all an ego reaction. He's just trying to avoid accountability. When it would be so easy, you know? It would be so easy. But like this behavior is bad enough that it makes me feel like it's probably going to lead to some kind of negative reaction, even from his own community. His community is mostly half-wits and children, sure, but children and half-wits aren't all bad, and also them being mostly children and half-wits is not them being entirely children and half-wits. I'm sure there will be people watching this who think that his behavior is pathetic. I don't know if they'll stop watching him, but like, come on. Does nobody know that most of the views a video gets in the first 24 hours? That is often true, but there are a lot of factors that can change that. First of all, a video can get most of its views in the first 24 hours, but then pick up in the algorithm again later. Sometimes, like, for some channels, they just continue to get views, like, forever, basically, because they're really good at algorithm promotion, thumbnails, and titles. A Tom Scott video, a Veritasium video, there are channels where things, like, consistently, like, sometimes these videos are just around forever. Nile Red videos, for instance, like, are never not in my recommended feed, and they just always have more views than before, you know? And a lot of the videos that XQC steals fit in this category. The recent video that he watched on the walled city of Calhoun, for example, that one's probably going to be out there for a long time because it's got a good title, it's got a good thumbnail, it's not super temporal. People will always be able to engage with it, and stuff like that, you know? Also, again, from my end of things, it's mostly an argument of artistry, of exposure. So even if, like, video number 1 comes out and it took, like, 100 hours to make and it makes such and such many views, and then a week later XQC releases his theft of the video, it gets the same number of views, even if it doesn't detract from the original content, I still think it's kind of fucked that you can just re-upload somebody's shit for view. Like, imagine if it was a pure re-upload. Like, imagine if somebody made a video, got, you know, 1 million views, and then XQC just re-uploaded it, and then got another 1 million. Nobody would think that's okay, but it suddenly becomes okay if his face camera is in the corner and he goes, ah, that's crazy, like 4 times throughout the video, you know? And even if somebody would say, well, the second upload doesn't take away video views from the first of all, you don't know that. And second of all, it doesn't matter because it's still their content you're taking. And third of all, just you. Like, come on, really? Is that what the internet should be? Just like, you know, the endless... And even if that wasn't the case, XQC still loses by default because of the internal inconsistency of his argument. Him saying, oh, well, if you have a problem, DMCA me or DM me, and then he attacks the people who do. So, yeah, it's like it's unwinnable. I watched this debate, and now I'm watching you react to it. Well, that's okay, because Ethan Klein doesn't mind me watching it.
Jeez.
Could you stop, please? Seriously, I mean, it's gonna get really bad. I don't want to do like the whole insult ad hominem thing.
What?
Because you're doing that.
It's just a
What?
statement.
The only reason.
Unpack
Can you stop?
that, please.
To
What?
prove that, it quite literally doesn't help anybody. You're muddying the waters for no reason. Can you
Unpack
stop?
that, please.
Could you stop, please? Seriously, I mean it. It's gonna get really bad. I don't want to do like the whole insult ad hominem thing.
What?
Because you're doing that.
It's just a statement of fact.
What ad hom? He didn't do any ad hom. And not only did he not do an ad hom, I don't even think he did an insult. Vaush, you're also adding transformative commentary, as evidenced by the fact that when I upload this, it's going to be like 16 hours or something. Yeah.
So,
not an insult.
Okay, I mean, okay. So as we go forward, you are bald. You're very bald. You're balding. Your hair's thinning, and it's gray, which means that you're old as. Got it. Okay, shall we continue? Is this fun?
The premise is faulty, my
What
friend.
the fuck is going on? Also, Ethan's hairline is fine. It's pretty strong, actually. All things considered. What is going on? It really is like arguing with a kid, you know, where they get upset and they're like, "Oh, so we're doing this? Well, you're ugly and fat." And like all you were doing was saying like, "Hey, can you not take my pencils off my desk without asking me?" Like, "Hey, you kind of took my pencil." "Oh, really? Really?" Yeah, like
Is this fun
I have
for
a
you?
beautiful hairline.
Baldy.
He does have a
Is this
beautiful
fun for you or not?
I'm having trouble with the premise. It has a striking resemblance to you trying to argue other points. It literally has no premise at all. That's no basis in reality.
You're just throwing insults for the sake
Go
of
ahead.
doing
I'm going
it.
to be quiet.
He hasn't thrown any insults. You're throwing insults for no reason. He's not. He's making fun of you for default. Felix is doing the literal definition of an ad hominem, which is you make an insult instead of addressing an argument, and that's exactly what he's doing. The projection is insane. It's insane.
I'll sit away.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you've done any statistical analysis in the past. I don't know if you've maybe had a stat class. Do you have any experience with statistics or not?
Go ahead.
Stats. Do you have any experience?
I do. I had to take multiple stat classes for my degree. I'm ready.
Do you have any experience with statistics or not?
Go ahead. Just make your point. What does it matter?
Okay. The curve of a video and on how it performs, that looks like a natural curve, right? You can see it's already going down before I watch it, and it keeps going down at a certain rate past it, right? Do you have any proof or any indicators that the video would have performed poorly or better after the reaction?
So obviously,
no time machine. No time machine, Ethan. I will say this. I don't actually know if it can be proven that re-uploading content takes away views in the immediate sense. That is to say, if there is an already existing pattern of view accumulation, I don't know if the re-uploading of content will disrupt that curve reliably. Though I think you could fairly argue it would disrupt like future bumps and algorithmic engagement, you know? Because then there would basically be two identical videos out there. And if anybody had the like internal algorithm tags that would lead YouTube to recommend that particular video, it will be like one or the other. And now like you're competing with another nearly identical video put out by a larger channel that has the same content in it. So the answer to this is that there's no way of really knowing in any specific case without having access to YouTube's algorithms, because only by having access to those algorithms could you directly analyze the extent to which the React version of a video would be recommended to future viewers versus the original content. And nobody has that information except YouTube, and they're not going to settle this dispute. Of course, that'd be ridiculous. So I've made all my arguments. I don't feel I have to prove anything more to my side of the argument. I think XQC's behavior here is embarrassing, but I want to be clear that like, while I think you can make lots of strong arguments on this side of things, there's no factual analytical way of determining this outside of like a really expansive study of many videos that have been reacted to and re-uploaded, or having access to YouTube algorithms, and neither is possible. So XQC's goal here is to set a standard of proof that needs to be proven that nobody can prove, thereby exonerating him.
Any data that we do have, which is of course just one, definitely proves that if it did have an effect, it's negative or negligible. And as the guy who is right? I mean, you certainly can't say that this helped the video. Are you actually arguing that a 87% decrease helped the video, XQC? That's really what you're arguing to me right now. That's awesome.
I'm in the middle.
So we're gonna go ahead and have the conclusion that you did not have a statistics class at all.
I understand your point, but like,
But
it's not making any sense. How is it that a 52% decrease in viewers is a dub for you?
Because it could have been a 65%. It could have been a 65% decrease.
Could have been.
It could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been worse. But
okay. Do you have any proof that it would have been or wouldn't have been? Do you have any data behind that or not?
I mean, dude, that's such a silly way to try to deflect from this really compelling data.
Because in my data sets, I have a lot of data sets, a bunch of them, and all the video curves have the same.
That you're looking for any excuse, any out to justify you stealing content from people, even in the face of data that suggests that it's not okay.
Here it comes.
Vaush, this might be tangentially related to this, but I'm autistic and I know you're in my chat, and I had a strong desire to be moral and reasonable. Then I used to believe every other person was always honest with their arguments, and this guy reminds me of the horrible people I constantly wanted to talk to in good faith. People like XQC right now ruin my brain. Yeah, actually, engaging with people like XQC are actually a really great reminder for like a hard pill to swallow, like a really rough one, which is that a lot of people just do not give a shit and will say literally anything, and your engagement with them, like the goal of arguing with XQC is secondarily to prove him wrong and primarily to make him look a fool, because it's not as that like it's like playing chess with a pigeon, you know? The goal of playing chess with a pigeon is secondarily to win the game and primarily to get the pigeon off your board. Only so much you can do, really. I saw this this excellent video from some ordinary game. Hold on, Mudahar.
And sometimes our designers are taking stuff way too close to the source, and I agree, and it's not okay.
Give a fuck. So does my editors, which makes us about equal on that topic. So you can still sometimes, when somebody gets confused at the company, when one of the sweatshop guys gets it wrong.
Team of designers.
True. The goal of debating people like XQC in a tertiary sense, of course, is to not kill yourself, to stay alive.
When the man fails to compile data properly, like somebody who knows what he's doing, you make a conclusion based on one piece of data that you don't even understand. Is this a way to proceed with for you or not? Is this a way to argue and have that conversation, or what's going on here? I don't get it.
Well, me neither, dude. You're trying to tell me that a significant decrease in views is a dub.
Ethan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just lost 16 viewers since you've talked. Clearly, you're robbing me.
How do you know that you're not boring? Maybe you're the boring one.
Oh, you're saying it's impossible to know because we only have one.
No, I know.
Right?
You're definitely more boring and not as fun to watch.
Oh,
that's a fact.
That really.
That's a joke, of course. I think you're very entertaining. You're very talented.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I'll say this. Ultimately, I'm pretty perplexed by this conclusion that I guess negative data, even just one data set.
Okay, I got you. You know what, dude? You want to go? I really didn't think you would bite on the data thing because you were going to get clapped, right? But since you want the data, okay. I mean, even though you're the one that has to prove something that's negative, I'll prove.
Before you do that, can you do me a favor? Read number 3 of his stipulation.
Which stipulation?
Hold on. Dan will pull it up for you. This is one of his stipulations.
Use a different thumbnail for XQC reaction video. Any direct competition in my video and minimize audio.
I'm sorry, I'll read it because with peace and love, I don't think many people understood that. Use a different. Just being fair. Use a different thumbnail for XQC's reaction video to prevent any direct competition with my video and to minimize viewer confusion. Direct competition, viewer confusion. Even he thinks so. That's why you use the same title and thumbnail, bro. Why are you denying reality?
Well, that Valorant accent, I just lost fucking 16 viewers again. Holy f***, it's kind of crazy.
You better be funny or something, bro.
Well, I'm just telling you.
React harder, XQC.
The way it says, you, bro. Hey, listen, you're the guy who sits like this in 20 degrees and does this.
So the transform.
So that would be an example of an ad hominem, since the debate is about transformative content and XQC's response is you slouch.
Transformative nature is about how straight you sit. Got it.
Oh, Ethan, you want to talk about amount of transformation?
God help me if I ever get in a debate with somebody like Felix, because there's a 100%. If they know me, they're going to do the thing Destiny did with the fingerless gloves, and they're gonna be like, hello, Vaush. And they're going to do that every, like, 10 seconds or something. I'll be undefeatable rhetorically. I will not, like, it's over for my channel if that happens. I brushed it incorrectly, sorry. He's just going to call you fat. Well, compared to Felix, I am fat. Dude's pretty skinny. So, you know, in a comparative sense.
And if we want to move on to that topic, let's just get some of your I think your wife's old merch, right? Which is a direct
yes, I love this topic.
I saw that. I've seen it, and some of the arguments you had against it. Oh my God! I think I changed the angle by 16 degrees, and I changed a little bit of the gamma color on this one. That's very transformative. Okay, Ethan, I'm gonna watch your entire thing, not react in any way, shape, or form. And I'm gonna change the color of the gamma and opacity, and I'm gonna rotate it sideways. That's very transformative, right? Ethan, come on.
So let me ask you. Before I address that, and I'm happy to. I'm gonna address everything you said about Teddy Fresh.
Go ahead.
What does it matter if I'm a hypocrite? How does that affect this conversation we're having?
That's an excellent question. So, appeals to hypocrisy. You know that saying of mine, which is okay. First of all, what Ethan is doing right here is the rhetorically correct move. When you're arguing with half-wits and bad faith actors, they will often try to distract from the subject by pulling it into another unrelated subject. The discussion on Teddy Fresh with somebody as thick as XQC could take forever, right? The goal is to constantly distract and divert. Unless hypocrisy is directly relevant to a point that you're making, I don't think it's relevant to, like, the argument about the morality or behavior of a specific case. So a good example of this would be if you have a roommate who does, like, no chores or whatever, and you also kind of shirk on your chores, but not really, and you're like, hey man, can you, like, do the dishes? And he's like, yeah, like, you swept under the couch last week like you were supposed to. It's still dusty down there. Technically, they're correct in that you should have swept under the couch when you were asked to, right? But that doesn't have anything to do with them washing the dishes, does it? What they're trying to do is do this, like, well, if you're bad, I'm bad, we're all bad, don't worry about it thing. But that's not really a solution to the problem. So what you can say there, effectively, and that's exactly what Ethan said, is, okay, sure, that's great. Do the dishes, man. The only time that the hypocrisy is directly relevant to the argument is if you're making an argument about tendency or disproportionate bias. So examples of this would be, if you are somebody who never does any chores, but somebody f***ed up a little bit and did, like, a little bit less than they should have, and you're like, hey, you forgot to do this thing, and meanwhile you don't do shit, that other person is well within the right to say, hold on, the disproportionate focus on my laziness compared to yours is f***ed up. You do so much less than me. Sure, I should have done my thing, but you're distracting, like, you're pulling away from. Basically, you have to find out whether or not the hypocrisy is the accusation of hypocrisy is an attempt to move the discussion away from where it should be. You know what I mean? Like, another good example would be this, right? If there's somebody who is a Catholic and defends the Catholic Church and everything that it does, and they accuse you of being a groomer because you're okay with Drag Time Story Hour, leaving aside the fact that Drag Time Story Hour does nothing to harm children because it's literally just them having shit read to them in a library or whatever, you can sidestep the argument entirely. Don't get into an argument on Drag Time Story Hour. Just point out how disproportionate the circumstances are, how they're pulling away from it. Like, bro, you've raped like 5 million boys every minute, and you're gonna talk about some dude wears a dress in a library, and you're like, oh well, clearly we've established moral equivalence with my empire of child rape. Like, yeah, make fun of them for it. So essentially, determine whether accusations of hypocrisy are meaningful or if they are meant as a distraction. Does that make sense? This is why I've so often said that all conservatives have to offer are like vague accusations of imagined hypocrisy, where rather than addressing anything they do, they'll just go, oh, well, you do this, and like they'll try to get you to fight about it, and they'll drag you along for hours and hours of meaningless convo. They know they're doing it too. They know they're wasting your time. XQC knows he's wasting Ethan's time with this Teddy Fresh thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the conversation. He's just trying to waste time. Sorry, I know that was a long one there, but yeah, I find it important to bring that up.
Genuinely, because we're talking about the philosophical nature of taking people's videos, right? And I'm having this conversation with you, but instead of answering the question, you're constantly deflecting to prove that, no, I'm a bad guy. And I don't see why you would do that other than the fact that you don't have a good argument to argue the substance. Like, why do you keep deflecting? What does it matter if I'm a hypocrite?
A good thing to say is also, I'd be happy to discuss that subject after we're done with this one. And if you say that, by the way, they're never actually going to talk about that subject later because they don't actually want to talk about it. They just wanted to distract from this subject.
Ethan, you know, sometimes you send it like a tweet, and people comment in the bottom and they say, "There's still time to delete this." Listen, Ethan, there's still time to fucking end the call, and you go about your day. Okay, before you say some really dumb shit. Okay, when you're out here saying, "What is it?"
What?
Get to the fucking point.
That I'm a hypocrite. I'm just saying. When you say, "Well, dude, what does it matter that I'm a hypocrite?" Well,
no, I'm genuinely curious, but I'll answer the Teddy Fresh before you do your monologue.
It discredits all your points and makes you look like
it doesn't. No, I'm genuinely curious. No.
You took the high road.
No, I really want you to answer it.
And you fell on your face flat. No, it's time to let on the facts.
No, it's an interesting philosophical question.
I think XQC's reaction here is actually perfect, because how upset he got is evidence that it was just a distraction tactic. If Ethan had then engaged in like a 40-minute discussion on Teddy Fresh or whatever, XQC would have happily bantered that. Oh, look at you with your problems, and you have the audacity to bring up mine. But Ethan's like, no, f that. We're talking about this. Let's talk about this. And and XQC has an autistic baby rage meltdown. Like, yeah, it's evidence, I think, to what the intentions of that distraction really were.
Okay, first of all, the Teddy Fresh thing. So Teddy Fresh is a company with 30 employees.
I think that he could just say, I'm happy to discuss it with you after. That's my go-to. I think it works. If they really want to discuss it, you can. That's totally fine, but not as a distraction.
And by the way, I love whenever someone's losing a debate to me, they bring this up. It's literally the lowest hanging fruit. And if you know anything about me, you know I've talked about this 1,000 times, but I'll address it because you brought it up.
Go ahead.
We have like a whole team of
people do this with me all the time with all the stuff that I get clipped for, right? Where I'll be having like a 2-hour argument on like race realism, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're a pedophile," and I'll be like, "Oh, well, you want to talk about? Well, you're going to end up agreeing with me that child slavery is bad, but let's do it after this conversation. Like, we'll talk about that next." You know, it's always when they're losing too. They never do it when they're winning. I wonder why. I wonder why people do that specific tactic reliably every time if they're on the back foot, but when they're on the front foot, for some reason, they actually want to stay focused on the topic. I mean, hey, for the same reason that I don't want to distract from the topic when I feel I'm on the front foot, you know? It's just pure, like, nihilistic, winner-takes-all politics. No beliefs, no values, just power and prestige.
Designers, and sometimes our designers are taking stuff way too close to the source, and I agree, and it's not okay.
Give a f. So does my editors, which makes us about equal on that topic.
Oh, here we are.
You can still sometimes, when somebody gets confused at the company, when one of the sweatshop guys gets it wrong.
Hold on.
Oh, my bad. But when my editor gets it wrong, oh no, we are thieving.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
Yeah, bring out HILA. Hey, bring him in.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my point. Hold on.
Your husband is bald.
My husband looks awesome.
Dude, my hairline is... You really... Okay, dude, the fact...
Why would you... What? Of all the things to accuse Ethan... Why not call him fat? No, I really... Like, you shouldn't anyway, because it's an ad hom. Why bald? Look at how little forehead he has. His hairline comes down right... His hairline couldn't possibly come any lower without it looking weird. Any lower and he'd be a 3-head. And he's older than Felix, too. Ethan is like, what, 40 or something? And Felix is younger than me, 27. 38? I don't actually know how old he is. I just know I go by decades, okay? You're 30 or 40. I'm 30, but I don't have white hair, so he has to be 40. I don't know.
That you're coming for my hairline just proves how delusional your whole... That's a metaphor for all of your arguments. Okay, Teddy Fresh, we have designers, right? And it's a big... We have a fairly large company. This is a common problem in all streetwear. We've had designers who have pretty much close to stole designs. We fired people over it, and every time it comes up, we have company meetings and say, guys, this is unacceptable.
See, you didn't want to talk about it.
If you're caught doing this, you
care.
will be fired.
And we've made a strict guideline, and it doesn't happen anymore.
What have
it
you
hasn't
done?
happened.
What have you done to prevent it?
Okay. So this is really good.
Okay.
You done?
Okay. That's what you sounded like.
Is he done or?
No,
the
he's
fuck is
done. You
happening?
can talk. He's done.
This is
I'm
like
just
a
being
child.
silly. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't know how you put up with this shit. I would leave his ass. Anyway,
Bro,
moving on.
I'm having a third child with him.
Isn't he getting divorced like right now? Are we perhaps projecting some issues at the moment? Oh my god, dude. Third child, bro. I'm very happy for them. I'm always rooting for my boys, HILA and Ethan, even if only one of them's a boy. He was married, like common law marriage? That's what chat said. I'm no expert.
No, you're getting divorced. Wait, XQC didn't even say we're getting divorced yet. Go ahead.
XQC is getting.
You know, our 4-year-old though would love your giraffe. I don't know who you got it for, but our 4-year-old would love your giraffe in the back.
Don't buy it. It's way too pricey for no reason. But I like it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cute. Okay, so let me just.
Sorry, HILA came to defend Teddy Fresh because you're talking about her
I
business.
actually wasn't planning to come in, but you brought up Teddy Fresh. Listen, then talk to me, because I'm the person running Teddy Fresh, not him.
Yes.
If you want to talk about it, talk to me.
I understand, HILA.
Okay.
And the reason why I brought up that point, okay, is
Notice how immediately he runs it back. It's like, oh, wait, shit. Wait, you got shit to say about my streetwear brand? Better talk to my wife. And you get like nervous and start sweating.
sometimes some things happen where it's somebody else's fault, it's a mistake, it's a whatever, right? And some things just gonna happen, right? It's just kind of human nature, and just it's a course of time.
That's bullshit.
And the question is, what do you do about it?
Yeah, what are you doing about it on a daily basis?
I took action about it, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Since things came up online, people pointed out to us. We had meetings at the office. We made guidelines. When we work with new graphic
What are you
design,
doing about it? That's the question.
What are you doing?
Okay. So if you guys stop bombarding and you actually listen to the answer.
This isn't bombarding.
Bro,
I'm
Stop
talking.
with the
I'm
posturing.
defending my
You
company.
don't just answer the question. You don't need to do these. These like, if you'll stop interrupt, just answer the question, bro. Nobody cares.
All right. Okay. I'll answer the question.
Okay.
So what you are agreeing with me is that sometimes, right? There's gonna be a mistake. There's gonna be something that somebody doesn't want.
Daily
and you'll
basis with you.
Go on.
And you'll rectify it after the fact, in hindsight, correct?
Yes.
What we did is not okay. You continue to do it on a daily basis several times.
It would be different if I came here and I said, I don't care. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm distributing to those guys who made the original graphic.
That is a great point. Even if two sides have both made mistakes, there is a significant difference between acknowledging it and trying to move forward with it and doing what XQC does, which is where he lies and downplays it and sends his audience to attack people who criticize him over it. Slight difference. Maybe. Possibly. There might be. Maybe.
I'm making their life better while I'm sitting in a Gucci shirt, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that was like $1,000 is what it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why.
Yeah. Yes. They do well. You could own a private jet and might actually. I don't know if he does, but he could if he wanted to. What is that? What? Oh man, dude. I was so mad. I was at Nordstrom's. For those of you who don't know, Nordstrom's is like mostly pretty pricey, but they also showcase brands that are very, very pricey. And I was looking at shoes to get, and I was looking them over, and I don't know anything about shoes. And my eyes scanned some, and I said, whoa, that's like a cute pattern. It was like this kind of gold, like brown with like a link pattern over the top of it and some design. I was like, oh, that's pretty. And then I got closer. It was the Gucci shoes. It was the Gucci shoes, and they were $1,200. They also had the Kanye boots, those like gigantic plastic boots that look like they belong to a Roblox character. I didn't check the price on those, but I'm sure it was like 5 trillion. And I don't think those are pretty. Maybe I just don't understand street culture. I don't know. Is the Gucci issue just that the price here? What? Yes. Yes, 1,200 is a lot. That's a lot. I've spent 600 on very nice dress shoes before, but for sneakers that I'm gonna like scuff? 1,200? Also, I don't want to wear Gucci merch. That's so gaudy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Yeah, they were these. Sorry, just to get a photo of these, so you guys can judge me for my bad taste, if you care to. Hold on, let me find the exact ones. Okay, it's not exactly these because these are only 800, but they were like this. They had this pattern. See, like the majority, the canvas had the pattern they have in their bags, or something like that. Really? Vomiting? I think the pattern looks quite nice, personally. I think it looks quite nice. I wouldn't pay $800 or $1,200 for it, or whatever, but I think it looks pretty nice. so busy though. Yeah, well, you wouldn't wear them like every day. You'd wear them if you had like a regular pair of like canvas or black jeans and some like a white t-shirt or something. So the shoes would be the accent piece, right? Whatever. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. It's completely unrelated. Those are unimaginably ugly. Really? Okay, whatever.
Would bring that up, to be honest. That's kind of... You want to talk about low-hanging fruit?
I thought it was a good point, because you're taking...
Because you're saying that you
Let's
care.
not muddy. Let's not answer the question. You do nothing to rectify it while we do. So go ahead. What are you doing about it on a daily basis?
Every single person that has brought up a negative point about the videos...
But you don't change what you do.
We have... Well, absolutely we have.
You literally said, I don't care.
Oh, yeah, but I still do the right thing, though.
Which is what?
Right? Which is work to make better thumbnails, better description, and to better work with the creators that are behind the video so that we don't f them over and they actually gain something from it. Now, I'd like to talk with HILA for a minute. So what you're saying is that you're repairing from hindsight, which is something that Ethan tried to get at me at, right? And then you brought the fact that we have 30 employees, help us out. Okay, fair enough. Then I, XQC, or whatever the corporate company, a parent company is, right? Well, we only have like 2 employees, 2 editors, right? And help us out, guys. Like, this is so sad. We only have 2 guys. We're playing the victim card here, right? Well, they sometimes make mistakes too, right?
It hasn't happened to us in a long time since we took action. This just happened to you on a daily basis.
I think the difference, if I can say, is that I've been listening. And when Ethan is asking you about this, for example, you don't say that this is wrong. The thumbnail, the matching thumbnail and title, you say, I did it because I like it.
No, he says they're working on better thumbnails.
So the answer has changed now. If this is your answer, that sounds a lot better. The
only reason why it's changed, okay, is that I'm trying to make a bold point for him to latch off the fact that he's on the high road. He chose a high road the whole process, okay?
That's your problem.
When
I'm right.
Because it's an ego issue, right? The problem that XQC is having right now is that he's being directly challenged and not coddled. Like, yeah, like Destiny's friends. If Destiny made these points to him directly, he would probably be really conciliatory, in part because XQC, I'm sure, understands that he shouldn't debate Destiny, though he really shouldn't have debated Ethan Klein either, but also because he could do it in the context of, like, friends bantering. You know, it's like how taking criticism from a friend is often a lot easier than taking it from somebody you don't like. Because if you take it from somebody you don't like, it's like, oh, you got to defend every point. But if you're with a friend, you can be like, okay, okay. So I don't think this would have meaningfully changed XQC's behavior because he's kind of a snake. But like, it's an ego thing. He shouldn't debate a plastic plant. Felix bumping into a plastic plant at like a Olive Garden or something and getting really worked up, and someone holds him back and they're like, hold on, man, you don't want to go down this road.
When you are on the high road, it is a thin road when on the high road, okay? Because you have to be really tight with what you do, the things that you say, and how you act, right?
I think he's doing fine. He's live every day for hours.
Please, I'm talking to Ethan, or you don't interrupt me. Okay, so now you're taking the high road, okay? You have to be really tight in how you operate, right? So we say things like, oh, well, he does this, and I never do this, right? Well, you are wrong, and I just told you.
You haven't proven that.
What? Okay, so the designs you stole. That's called being a thief. A thief, piece of shit, garbage.
Yes, that was not right when that happened.
Okay,
it hasn't happened in a long time, and we actually made efforts to prevent it. You have not. You said your efforts to prevent it is better thumbnails and titles, bro. This is your example of better thumbnails and titles. This was 2 weeks ago. Same name, same thumbnail.
I feel like on a fundamental level, a big problem here is XQC probably isn't a very happy person and doesn't take much pride in his work. Like, he's extremely wealthy. He has enough wealth that he could, like, influence elections. That, like, to talk about the level of money that he has, it goes beyond, oh, he could afford a nice house and 3 cars. And, like, he's like an institutional force, potentially, with the amount of money that he has. But he's content, or not even content, really, to just sit there and react to YouTube videos that he's given. And I feel like it's indicative primarily of kind of depression, you know? But rather than be constructive with it and try to, like, grow or find what would make him happy or to take control of his life or whatever, he just sort of sits there and, with a degree of self-awareness, does the absolute minimum, but still has the, I guess, ego to get mad when people call him out in it. He's not doing great, man. Like, it's just indicative of a deep sadness. And I don't think money makes a person happy, but money does give people the resources and time that they might need to find happiness. And that is still meaningful. He could do literally anything in the world. He could do literally anything in the world with the money that he already has. I feel like this would, you know, I don't think he is aware of the idea that it's possible to do more than this. Or like, at least not on an emotional level, even if it's intellectually known.
The guy you did the experiment says, change my thumbnail, change the name so that my audience doesn't get confused and so that you don't steal my views. Why are you denying that? It's so obvious.
Okay, so like I said, we
answer the question.
What's the question?
The question is, how is it that you can deny that you're stealing views and intentionally misleading audience to clicking your video?
Intentionally? That is not intentional.
How is? Oh my God! Is it possible? Is it possible?
Go ahead.
Let's say someone comes from your stream. They've watched you all day. They love you. They're a big fan. They watched you react to, let's say, Mr. Beast's new video. Okay?
Yeah.
And then they come to the homepage, and guess what they see there? Mr. Beast's new video. Do you think are they less likely or more likely to click his video after they saw it on your channel?
I'm
answer the question, dude.
Well,
more or less likely.
Okay.
No. Just answer one or the other. Two choices.
Less. Got him.
Yeah. Did.
Damn. So then Mr. Beast is,
that proves that you're stealing people's views intentionally.
Okay,
Thank you, bro.
So the views that
I'm honestly surprised he answered that. It's not like there's like a standard of decorum he's adhering to. You know what I mean? He could just say whatever, right?
And the click rate in that particular instance, do you think that will end up being a raw loss of the creator or not?
Sorry?
Are we done talking about Teddy Fresh?
Yeah, if we're done talking about Teddy Fresh, it'd be better because I don't want to feel like we're ganging up.
Get out, thief, before I fucking Robin Hood this shit, before I start spreading the wealth of your company to other people. Holy shit, I'm about to come at you guys with things and designs. Jesus Christ, bro.
You're being pretty silly, but ours is defensible. Yours is not. Or at least we've made, it's not defensible, but anyway, you know what? I mean, I don't see this conversation going much.
Guys, it is defensible thievery, guys.
It's
stealing in the right way.
No, I retracted that as soon as...
Remember what I said about how oftentimes the accusation of hypocrisy is just a deflection? That, like he clearly just doesn't want to talk about his shit, you know?
As I said it, right? What you heard. I said we've corrected the error, an understandable error, in my opinion, one that you refuse to remedy after time and time and time again. You provide me zero direct answers. And frankly, I think you know you're wrong, and I think you don't care that you're wrong because it benefits you greatly. You make a lot of money. You don't want to change what you do. And here's another thing. You're not going to be able to make 12 hours of content for Kick, who paid you $100 million, if you can't steal other people's content. Because if you don't, what the f are you going to do all day? Sit there and gamble? Nobody's going to watch that shit. Nobody's gonna watch it.
People would probably watch that shit. I have no idea why people watch gambling streams. Like that is something for which I have. It's not only like I don't get it. It's like I can't even arrive at an understanding. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. Mental illness, yeah. Eldritch influence.
This shit already. They don't care about you even having arguments. Clearly, you're not very good at that. You lost 12 viewers, man. My views are very good right now, by the way.
So I don't need like a therapist to give us a hint on when the tantrum ends. When does it end, Ethan? It seems like when you go on these tangents, you go on a rampage, you just ramble and ramble without making any concise point or a question. Is it you're done with that shit? Can we talk like adults now or not?
I think this conversation has kind of been exhausted.
People would rather watch me full screen cam do the worm
than watch your
prime.
Bro,
watch your
do
prime
it for
content.
a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many views you get. Oh, he's crying in the corner. Oh, okay, sure. I mean, that's content, man. It's original content, at least. Yes, do that, bro. Dude, do a week.
You fucking love it, man.
Bro,
this is the most money you've gotten in the past 4 years, bitch.
It's awesome. Do a week of no react content.
Oh, man.
I would have no response to that rhetorical tactic were it applied to me in a debate. Ethan loses at this moment.
Oh,
even
man,
a
oh,
day,
man.
even a day.
Okay,
Do
Ethan,
one
okay,
day without React content. I'm serious.
Hey, Ethan, let's see your wife's merch sales on the first wave when 90% of designs were stolen.
90%.
Let's see the figures.
Wait, hold on. You're just being silly, bro.
Am I being silly? Prove me wrong. Because clearly the burden of proof is on you now, right? Because if you make an argument, then you have to prove it. You go ahead, prove it.
You haven't even shown. I mean, what?
What?
Dude, you're being
You do.
silly, bro. You're being ridiculous.
Well, it seems like I have to prove everything, and you have to prove nothing.
That's not at all what's been happening.
And you've done nothing except prove some defunct
All right, thank you, buddy. It was a good chat. I think that we've done a good job at getting to the heart of what you care about and how you feel about taking people's videos. I think it was illuminating. I think we had a really good conversation.
Oh my God, it's over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have anything else interesting to say, so I think we can wrap it up.
Really? Oh, I think your audience thinks I have something interesting to say. It's just the problem is that you're running.
How long do you want me to sit here and listen to you? Watch you crawl around on the ground like a worm? I
would watch that for more.
Unlike you, I actually organize and put work into my show.
I
understand for you, you're just burning time. You could sit here for 12 hours. That'd make your life easier. You wouldn't have to go steal videos. But me, I planned this. I have a show. I have a schedule. This has stopped being interesting because you're just sitting there saying silly shit and doing the worm. So with that being said, thank you for calling. I feel like it was very illuminating, and I wish you the best, and I hope you have a great stream. Oh, one more question. I wanted to ask him, who is Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair is here. Actually, I'll show this. I wanted to ask him that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That was not going anywhere. But here, for the people still watching, here's him talking about Mr. Chair.
I have a concept in my chat called Mr. Chair. If I'm gone and I watch a video and I leave, Mr. Chair watches the video for me, and chat loves Mr. Chair more than they like me. Chat hates me.
I think that means that they like the original video, which the views of which you're stealing. But he's saying, yeah, I just walk away and my chair does the work for me.
They love Mr. Chair, okay? And for them, that has value. And I think that can't be understated.
The chair adds value. The chair. He said the chair, the empty chair adds value. How can I have a conversation with this guy? The truth is that he wants to be radically honest about what he's doing. He wants to say, I don't care about this. I'm doing it. I don't care. He wants to make $1 million. He wants to make $1 million exceptions. Oh, if they come to me, I'll pay them. Putting the onus on the victim to come to him, the biggest content creator in the world, where there's a huge power dynamic. The one guy I did talk to, Vince, says he doesn't want the heat. And of course, why would he, right?
And then later XQC is like slandering him and saying that he's a paid actor and saying that all these other people who spoke against him are pieces of shit. Yeah, so proving exactly why.
I mean, he's clearly not very stable to begin with. I mean, he hasn't slept in a day. And so, sending him a complaint could easily backfire on somebody. And he wants to be radically honest about it. But when it comes time to explain what he's doing is wrong, he won't own it.
Yeah, that's true. That ultimately is the contradiction. He wants to be the devil may care, like whatever, man, I'll do whatever gets me my bag kind of guy who just owns that he's kind of a piece of shit. But he can't do it because of his ego, because he is miserable and he does have a fragile ego, and so he can't do it. It's not possible. You could be either of those people, but you cannot be both. I think that Ethan Klein did a phenomenal job in this conversation. I think that he was incredibly calm, which juxtaposed well against XQC's building insanity. And I think that it's paid off well because in the discussion that I've seen about this, it has been 100% anti-XQC. Literally, like, across the board, every bit of discussion that I've seen online about this has been people hating on XQC, Yeah, I think Ethan did a really good job. Yeah, the XQC subreddit has been giving him grief for it. Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry. Oh, we're going to get to that. So, okay, after the conversation with Ethan Klein, XQC messaged him and they talked for a bit. And Ethan posted the messages. I don't know whether or not Ethan disclosed that he was going to post these or whatever. I think that generally it's bad to leak DMs, but if the person who's messaging you is flaming you, or if it's in the context of a discussion and you're not posting like personal stuff, I think that there's like some exonerating or mitigating circumstances there. From Ethan Klein, Well, actually, it's from XQC. We're looking at Ethan Klein's post, but these are messages from XQC. They're from Ethan's perspective. You know, the whole point of the show is that, sorry, you know, the whole point of the show is you actually discuss points, kicking me out and then doing some echo chamber tweets about this stuff that you didn't prep for, some soy behavior, man. Cheers. I'm not going to do that again, but that's my attempt. I can't do the accent and the speed. I tried to go for the speed and not the accent there. Ethan says, K. Felix says, Jesus, go back to bed, old guy. Ethan says, bro, you haven't slept in 2 days. You probably would have performed better with a nap beforehand. Felix said, zzz. If it was actually about actual truth, I would have just spammed the group chat full of files and made it boring gray hair Andy. Completely corrupted. This man's mind is completely corrupted by the vat that he's swimming in. And then he posted some graphs. Ethan says, you are coping, my friend. Felix says, 50 plus unbiased sample size. Cope on dis dick. You had one graph that proved me right. Again, this is meaningless jibber jabber. Then it's these graphs things. I don't know. And then, and this is the best one, from Ethan Klein. This has 8 million views at the moment, and it only got posted today. Final message from XQC. I know it kills you inside. You lost so much time and money in that lawsuit. So this is an example of an actual ad hominem. An ad hominem isn't just an insult. It's an irrelevant insult. Which one? I don't know. Whichever, really. You seem so bitter after it. I'm fine. Anyways, when the bills kick in and you're struggling, remind yourself you leaked DMs out of insecurity. And don't forget, I got your whole house on my wrist, kissy emoji. And it's this god-awful, ugly watch that probably costs 500 billion or something. I don't know. There is so much to break down here, like on so many levels. First of all, accusing Ethan of being bitter about the lawsuit and then not even knowing what he's talking about. Like, he doesn't know what lawsuit or what happened. He's just heard about a lawsuit. Again, given the fact that Felix is apparently currently dealing with a lawsuit pertaining to his common law marriage, I guess this is a sensitive subject to him and he's projecting a little bit. Second of all, when the bills kick in and you're struggling, I know that literally everyone on Earth is poor compared to Felix. That's true. My understanding is that Ethan Klein and HILA are doing pretty okay. I think their content is pretty successful. I'm doing pretty okay, and they're a lot larger than I am. So I feel like that's probably likely. You know, I think they're doing okay. And then finally, the thing with the watch, man. To be clear, I have no respect for people who buy expensive watches. And the reason for that is because nobody needs watches anymore. Everyone carries a phone that can track time more accurately than any physical watch because it's connected to the internet. They are worn purely as status symbols. And what's more, they're worn as the worst kind of status symbol, which is the kind of thing you think you should do because your dad did it and you have a vague understanding of what power, prominence, and masculinity mean and look like, but you don't know how to apply or translate it to the modern day, so you just ape ideas from different people, different generations. It's like a clumsy, crude, inept attempt at capturing what you feel will give you security. But it clearly doesn't. Oh, to be clear, if you think that watches are pretty and you want to wear them for that reason, go ahead. But that's not why he's doing it. He's bragging about the expense of the watch because he bought this watch because it's expensive. He didn't buy this watch because he liked it. He bought it because it's expensive. That's why he's talking this way. And it's out of insecurity. Exactly. It's purely that. It's after a debate in which he was so evidently insecure, to go out and confirm everybody's belief so plainly, like with no self-awareness, is remarkable. I guarantee you that he, fuming after that debate and all the negative backlash that he's been getting, went to his desk drawer and put on the watch to take this photo. He's sitting on the carpet, for Christ's sake. Look at this. Does he keep his watch and his bracelet in like a trash bin? What he's sitting on the floor. He had to have taken this photo, like, to like epically own Ethan. You know, people are giving him a lot of shit for this, and 100% of it is deserved. I think that he's pathetic, and stupid, and insecure, and fragile. And I think he could be better. I think he could be better almost effortlessly, like, because he's so bad that it would be easy to be better than he is. you know, it's almost nowhere to go but up. I suppose he always could be worse. But clearly he's having some severe mental health issues, and he's kind of taking it out on everyone else. So, I mean, we'll see if he changes. I don't think he will. Apparently this watch cost $500,000, and he just got it a couple weeks ago. Oh, there we go, yeah. I rarely get myself anything, but I've been wanting it for a while and finally got it. Makes me really happy, so I thought I'd share. I don't think this is making him happy, guys. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Based on my impression of him, I don't think this is making him happy. I think that he has a lot of money, and he thinks that conspicuous consumption will make him happy, and it's not. God, it looks so shit. It's the kind of watch design or aesthetic that I think I would enjoy quite a lot if it was attached to something that is purely ornamental and not LARPing as a useful item the way that a watch does. A nice desk clock, for example, or art of some kind, something I could frame and appreciate. But the whole $500,000 for a half-pound watch hanging off my wrist is just not... Isn't this how Marx said even the wealthy are miserable? The wealthy are often quite miserable. They do have a lot of problems, but their problems aren't a product of them not being able to access things the way most people's problems are. They have different problems, which doesn't make them fake. I think they should be taken seriously, but that doesn't mean that you have to respect Felix's behavior. I don't. If you're to take anything from this, it should be that, you know, I think Ethan Klein has done a remarkable job growing into being an effective debater or interrogator. I think he's done quite a good job with that. Ooh. International Cat Day, everyone. Hello. Yeah? I'm going to move your leg up so it's closer to your mouth so you can eat your leg, which you like to do. Look at this guy. Wow. Yeah. Look at this little man. Isn't he precious? He's like 3.5 months old. He's only existed for 3.5 months. What? Yeah. He wants to zoom. Be free. He has been on one lately. He is so cute. Look. Here's him sleeping with a blahaj. Look at him. Protecting the blahaj. Blue hog. Blog hog. And then, look at him playing with Artemy. Look at this. Look at this photo. I can't believe this photo. Look at this. What is this face? This is not a cat face. What is he doing? It's like morphing into something else. Yeah, Artemy is getting along with him. Also, look at him snuggling with his big sister. I love this photo so much. Yeah, she's disgusting looking. Wah. Creature. Goblin and gargoyle together.